Yo, Atlas speaking, and welcome to part 4 of What If I Was Reincarnated in the world of Naruto as Naruto's twin sister. Let the tale begin. Chapter 57, How to Defeat Your Greatest Enemy. After the group was finished with dinner, Hinata made some tea and served it to everyone. Hiruzen, meanwhile, still felt like something was off but couldn't put his finger on it. Have I forgotten something? I feel like I am missing something really important. Hiruzen scanned the people in the room with his eyes, and Hinata and Naruto seemed to anticipate something to happen, while Yuna clearly had mischief in her eyes. Something is wrong, I need to get out of here. Hiruzen was just about to thank the trio for the dinner and then leave when Yuna interrupted him with a smile on her face. I have to say, Konoha's Hokage sure has guts. Hiruzen, of course, had no idea what Yuna meant by that, but his bad feeling got worse and worse by the second. I mean, you should have heard Kakashi's report, right? You should know what is possible with just an hour of preparation time, and yet you boldly walk into our house. That is why I said that you have a lot of guts. Fearlessly walking into the jaw of the tiger isn't something everyone can do. Hiruzen shuddered in terror when he realized the situation. A trap. There is probably an obscene number of seals hidden throughout the whole flat. I need to get ready to defend myself. Hiruzen flared his chakra, causing it to wash over the trio. While Hinata and Naruto flinched a little from the powerful pressure of chakra, Yuna didn't react to it at all. Pretty good. Naruto and Hinata only flinched a little. A normal genin would probably be rather close to suffocating when they are hit by that. Hiruzen, in the meantime, had already jumped off his chair and had taken out 2 kunai to defend himself from the coming onslaught. The trio, however, were only giving him weird looks. Hiruzen couldn't help but feel awkward. He was standing in the middle of the room and looked like he was ready to fight to the death, while the 3 teenagers just sat at the table, lazily drinking tea. After seeing Hiruzen get more and more embarrassed, she couldn't help but chuckle a little, with Naruto and Hinata doing the same. Hee, no worries. There is no reason for us to attack you, after all. It is not like you are our enemy. Hiruzen only chuckled awkwardly and sat back down. He took the cup of tea in front of him and took a calming sip. Well, even if you were our enemy, we wouldn't use the seals. We would just poison your tea. Pfft. Yuna casually tilted her head to the side to dodge the tea projectiles that were flying at her. She lifted her hand and gave Hiruzen a thumbs up. Nice spit take. Hinata and Naruto, meanwhile, were already on the floor while attempting not to suffocate on their own laughter. Can't an old man like me get some peace? Where is Lady Kyan, by the way? Yuna actually had to think for a moment who the hell Lady Kyan was. After remembering that this was the name she used to negotiate with Hiruzen in her older form, Yuna quickly gave her answer. Here and there. She's apparently very busy and doesn't have time to stay here the whole time. Although Hiruzen found that rather weird, he couldn't feel any falsehood in Yuna's words, so he only nodded his head. Well, let's get to business, shall we? Yuna leaned back, with a casual smile on her face, while Naruto and Hinata couldn't help but get a little nervous. Yuna had already explained to them why Hiruzen might come over to their flat. Although Yuna already pacified them that she had everything under control, they still couldn't help but get a little agitated. Sure, go ahead. I will answer what I am willing to answer without any lies. Although Hiruzen's eyelid twitched a bit, he decided to press onward. I can understand why Hinata hid her strength, but why did you two do the same? Yuna could only roll her eyes at that question. Haven't I already told the answer to Shikaku? Was he too lazy to report the whole conversation to the Hokage? Maybe he didn't want to admit that he would have done the same in my situation and mistrust the Hokage just like I did. Nah, he was probably too lazy. Isn't that rather obvious? We did it to protect ourselves. How were we supposed to know who we could trust and who we couldn't? Having 3 people with 2 different affiliations following us around didn't exactly increase our trust in the people around us either. How could we know we wouldn't be cut down the moment we excel at something? Hiruzen was, naturally, outraged by this. What? I would never do that to my citizens. Yeah, I already noticed that you are a big softy, but how could we have known about that all those years ago? There was a lot of scheming going on in the background and I wasn't even sure if you were the actual ruler of Konoha for quite a while. You weren't sure if I was the ruler? I am the Hokage, so I hold the village's highest position. Why wouldn't I be the ruler? Well, first of all, from the information I gathered so far, you seem to be rather friendly towards my father and you were even the one to declare him the fourth Hokage, right? Hiruzen could only give Yuna a wry smile when he heard how casually Yuna mentions that the fourth Hokage is her father. Hiruzen had already suspected her to know, but now it actually was a confirmed matter. He gave a quick glance at Naruto and Hinata and confirmed that those two also knew about it. Indeed. He was my student's student and we got along rather well. Alright, then, why was no one willing to adopt us? Hiruzen's face wrinkled up in annoyance when he heard that question. Because. Yeah, I know. Those retarded laws concerning civilians and shinobi. I already read through all of that dribble. That is why I thought you were just a puppet ruler. Just crack the whip and do what you want to do. Strictly speaking, Konoha has a more lenient form of a military dictatorship. If you, the Hokage, want to do something, then do it. Who can stop you? Hiruzen could only shake his head at that naive thinking. This is not how it works. If I just override the will of the civilians, they will grow unhappy and might even start a riot. Yuna was looking at Hiruzen like he was a complete idiot. So? F***M. If they are so unhappy then they can P** off to other places. Let's see how much they enjoy their life in a village that isn't protected by the world's strongest military force. If they prefer getting robbed and killed by missing Nin more than a slight inconvenience in their freedom, that they can go ahead, in my opinion. You can promote the will of fire all you want, but if it wasn't for me, Naruto would have very likely hated this village with all his being. Because a bunch of civilians were throwing a tantrum, you almost pointed Konoha's strongest asset at itself. You can't make everyone happy. As a leader, you need to be able to make the necessary sacrifices to protect as many as you possibly can. You are not the hero of a fairy tale, you are the Hokage of Konoha. Act like it. The more Yuna spoke, the older Hiruzen seemed to get. Since everything turned out fine with the Kyuubi situation, he basically stopped paying attention to it. Every time trouble popped up, it was pretty much solved before he had to do anything, so he stopped paying attention to it. Only now did he realize what could have happened if the situation escalated. He could have two highly unstable Jinchuriki on his hands that both had a deep hatred for the village. That might have actually been Konoha's doom one day. When he heard Yuna's last two sentences, however, some of his life returned to him. That's right. I truly have become senile, haven't I? When did I start trying to play hero and satisfy everyone instead of doing what I think is best for the village? He straightened his back as life returned to his eyes. That's right. I am not a hero, I am the Hokage and I will do what I deem is best for the village. I won't be swayed that easily by the opinion of others anymore. Some of the dignified aura he had in his prime reappeared and he finally started to look like a ruler again. By the way, I might actually have a way to solve the problem with your paperwork. The dignified aura Hiruzen managed to build up, shattered like an egg that was thrown at a boulder. His eyes grew red like a madman as he instantly appeared in front of Yuna while lifting her up by the front of her shirt. Tell me. It doesn't matter what you want, you can have it, just give me the method. Wow, this old man really hates paperwork, huh? Can you let me down first? Hiruzen's eyes immediately widened in shock. He put Yuna back on the ground and quickly took a few steps back. He seems to be ready to kneel in front of Yuna as an apology, so Yuna stopped him before he could lose even more of his dignity in front of Hinata and Naruto. Now, old man, calm down. First of all, this is just a theory I have and I can't confirm it yet. Second, I will give it to you for free. If Konoha's leader has more time for other things, it would naturally be a good thing, right? When he heard Yuna's second point, he, for some reason, felt like a devil was whispering words in his ears, promising him great things without paying anything in return, but he suppressed that feeling. If there was a method to defeat his paperwork, parts of his soul should be a rather fair price for it. I assume you know the shadow clone jutsu? Hiruzen only gave a nod with a wry smile on his face. If her method is just using shadow clones, then I really made a fool out of myself for nothing. And I assume that just letting your clones do part of the work doesn't work, because there is simply too much information condensed into a short time frame. Hiruzen, again, nodded his head with the interest returning to his face. Indeed, using shadow clones during a fight is still fine, because during high-speed combat a lot of reactions will be due to muscle memories, but paperwork is a totally different matter. You need to read the whole document, understand it, and then come to a decision. If it is 1 or 2 documents, then that is still fine, but I have to work through hundreds of documents every day. Another idea is to continuously make shadow clones, let them work through 1 or 2 documents, and then pop them and make new ones. This is actually how I handled the paperwork during my earlier days, but that is not something I can do at my current age. Then won't it be fine to stretch it into a longer time frame? I heard that the T&I department has a jutsu that lets them read a person's memories at a very high speed. This is the method I came up with: make some clones that won't share their memories with you when they disappear, let them help you do the paperwork, read their memories at a higher speed with the T&I department's jutsu. Done. Hiruzen was silent for a while. He was contemplating if this actually could work or not. He had a very deep understanding of chakra and jutsu, so he can figure out rather quickly whether this method was feasible or not. The more he thought about it, the happier he became. This could actually work. I need to adjust the memory absorption rate of the jutsu and test out how many clones are reasonable. I also need to make sure that no clones disappear before I got their memories. If this works out, I need to come up with a backup system in case an accident happens and a clone disappears too early. Maybe have 2 clones work on the same paperwork simultaneously. This should also reduce the mistakes I make during filling out the paperwork, which would reduce my workload even further. This might work, this might actually work. Hee, just you wait, damn paperwork, after all these years I will finally be able to retaliate. Seeing how the smile on Hiruzen's face seemed to twist further and further away from what a human should look like, Yuna decided to intervene. Oi, old man. You're still with me? Hiruzen was awoken out of his fantasy of finally defeating his worst enemy and looked at Yuna with a bit of worship in his eyes. Haha, of course, I am awake. I am more awake than I have ever been. I will be taking my leave now. I will come over for another visit when I have time. Have a good night, you 3. Hiruzen walked towards the exit while being in high spirits. Good night, old man. Naruto and Hinata also wished him a good night, and Hiruzen didn't even twitch after being called an old man again. His mood was simply too good to bother about something this minor, but Yuna still had something else to say. There actually is another minor matter, old man. Oh? What is? Splat. A cake smashed straight into Hiruzen's face. Sorry, I couldn't hold it in anymore. Chapter 58, Meeting the New Sensei. After Hiruzen left and the trio finished laughing, they sat back down and enjoyed the remaining tea. Was it really fine to not ask for any compensation from him, Yuna? Yeah, don't worry, Hinata. Me helping him for free will give him a favorable impression of us. If he has to make decisions that concern us, he will be much more likely to decide something that is in our favor. Besides that, I still have a few other methods to coax a favor out of him. So, no worries. After seeing Yuna's scheming smile, Hinata blushed a little and nodded in understanding. She couldn't help but admire how Yuna always seemed to be in control of the situation, but at the same time, she wished that Yuna would tone down the wickedness that would occasionally appear on her face a bit. Nei-san, was that cake at the end really fine? Won't he hold a grudge or something? No, there is no need to worry about that. Rather than hold a grudge, he will probably realize how much danger he actually was while sitting here. If I can hit him with a cake, I can do the same with something much sharper, as well. This should discourage him from getting any silly ideas about our home. This time it was Naruto's turn to nod in understanding. He might not understand much about human psychology, but he knew that Yuna was usually right about her assumptions about how people would react. After that, they spent the rest of the night chatting about whatever came to their minds and then went to bed to prepare for the next day. Team 7 was supposed to meet at 7 in the morning, while Team 8, Hinata's team, was supposed to meet at 9 in the morning, so, naturally, all three of them left the house at around 8:30 in the morning. When Yuna and Naruto arrived at their meeting point, the first thing that greeted them was annoyed looks from Sakura and Sasuke. "You are late." Sakura was the first to say something, but Yuna and Naruto both decided to ignore her. "Good morning you two, I hope you slept well." That was Naruto's greeting. "Yeah, good morning. Isn't it really nice when you can sleep until about 8 in the morning? It's like an extra hour of sleep compared to the academy." This was Yuna's greeting. "We were supposed to meet at 7. Mkich. Yeah, I guess we were. But since Kakashi isn't here yet, it's fine, right?" "Oh? He just arrived. Good morning Kakashi." Although it took Naruto a little bit longer than Yuna, a few moments later he nodded in the same direction as Yuna just did and said his own greetings. "Good morning, Kakashi-sensei." Sakura could only sneer at that. "You don't think you can divert my attention this easily, do you? There is no way you—" "Good morning, everybody." Before Sakura could finish her sentence, Kakashi appeared and gave everyone a lazy greeting. There were tons of things she wanted to say, but she decided to just say the first thing that came to her mind. "You are late." Well, there was this old grandma that needed my help crossing the road and then a few other things happened and so I am a little late." 2 hours isn't a little. "Oh well, anyway, how about we—" "Wait." To Kakashi's surprise, Sasuke interrupted him. "Is there something else, Sasuke-kun? How in the world did these two idiots know you were coming before I could sense you?" "Ah, so it is about that. That is because both Yuna and Naruto are sensor types. That means they are especially gifted in sensing the presence of other people. From what I know about the Uchiha clan, they never had much talent in that, so I advise you to not bother about it." While Sasuke's fighting spirit seems to be ignited by that for some reason, Yuna could only roll her eyes at Kakashi's teaching style. "I know you want Sasuke to realize that he can't do everything on his own, but can you at least say it in a way that this idiot can understand? Something like, kill brother, many people, easier. Many people, good. That should barely be understandable to that blockhead. Well, let's get a new mission for Team 7. Yuna, you are on your own today. Your new sensei has returned from her mission and will meet you today." "Oh? So, it is a she, huh? Now that her mission is over, you should be allowed to tell me her name, right?" "Sure, her name is—" Meanwhile, in the Hokage office, Hiruzen could only smile awkwardly at the irritated woman in front of him. "I have no interest in playing babysitter for some random brat, Hokage-sama. Please assign her to someone else." That woman was Anko Mitarashi, Yuna's new sensei. She had violet hair that was done into a fanned-out, spiky, ponytail. She wore a tight-fitting mesh suit that covered her from her neck to her thighs. Over the mesh suit, she wears a tan overcoat and a dark orange miniskirt. "Anko, please calm down, she isn't just some random brat. She is one of the village's Jinchuriki, as well." Anko's eyes widened when she heard that and then got even angrier. "What the hell? Even more reason not to assign her to me. With my personality, won't she go on a rampage on day 1? You know that there is no way I will not provoke her, right?" Calm down, calm down. Yuna isn't exactly easy to provoke, so no worries about that. I am sure you won't have any complaints about her strength either. She will probably be promoted to Chunin or maybe even Special Jonin after the next Chunin exam, so you would only have to deal with her for a few months. *tisk**, fine. But you do realize I specialize in infiltration and assassination, right? Naturally. Truth be told, that is why you were chosen. Yuna personally wanted someone with that specialization. The moment he said those words, Hiruzen realized that he messed up, but he still kept a calming smile on his face like nothing had happened. She personally requested it? Since when can genin make requests who they would like as their sensei? You don't have to worry about that. There were some special circumstances that I can't tell you about. Although Anko was rather suspicious of what all of this was about, but she couldn't exactly interrogate the Hokage. Maybe her new student will know something about that, right? Fine, whatever. I will meet her for now and we will see how it goes from there. If I am not satisfied though I will not take her in. Hiruzen gave a nod of acknowledgement. That is fine. As long as you test her fairly, I don't mind. You are dismissed. Yes. Well, I can meet that brat later. For now, I will get myself some dango. Anko quickly made her way to her favorite dango shop, but before she could even enter, she felt that something was off. There are almost no people inside. It is unusual for there to be no customers at this time of the day. She was just about to enter when she was stopped by one of the waiters. Miss Mitarashi, right? We have been expecting you. Please follow me inside. Ha. Although she was indeed one of this shop's best customers, she certainly didn't expect to be welcomed back like this. She was quickly led to one of the more private tables of the shop. When Anko approached it, she noticed that there was already another person sitting at it. A young girl with crimson red hair with blue strands that was currently happily munching on some dango. Yo! Anko, right? Have a seat, have some dango, as well. Anko, of course, knew exactly who that young girl was. Yuna Uzumaki, her new student. Anko was not someone whose pace could easily be disturbed, so she gripped one of the dango sticks, sat down, and started eating as well. So, brat, why did you think I would come here? Yuna could only roll her eyes at that stupid question. I have gathered basic information on all the jonin and your dango addiction isn't exactly a secret. Where else would you be? Besides, I would rather talk with you inside a cozy restaurant instead of the windy rooftop of the academy the other jonin seem to prefer. Ah, fair enough. Oh right, before I forget it. Yuna pulled out a small talisman that had an absurd number of complex-looking seals drawn on it and slapped it onto the table. The next moment a small airwave seemed to radiate out from the seal before everything returned to normal. Anko was just about to ask what that was all about when Yuna answered her preemptively. Portable privacy seal. As long as we stay within 1 meter of the table, no one will hear us talking. What? Where did you get something like this? Private connections. No need to worry, they will appear on Konoha's markets soon. Oh? Privat connections, huh? A smirk appeared on Anko's face. Is that also what helped you two pass the academy exams? Yuna raised one of her eyebrows a little and gave Anko a questioning look. Is she trying to provoke me so I spill the information? Or does she want me to gloat about my connections and make me spill it that way? Guess she will adapt to how I react. Fine, let's play around. An annoyed look appeared on Yuna's face. What do you mean by that? Anko's eyes sparkled with glee when she realized that Yuna took her bait. Hee, nothing much. I just heard that you were really bad at the academy. Pretty much no passing marks at all. How could someone this stupid pass? Obviously, someone helped you, right? Who are you calling stupid? Strong killing intent crashed into Anko, making her flinch. She widened her eyes in shock when she saw Yuna grow a tail of red chakra and 2 fox ears. Not easy to provoke my ass. She explodes almost instantly when provoked. Anko quickly jumped up from her chair and got ready for combat. However, as soon as she shot up, Yuna's chakra cloak and her killing intent vanished. She casually grabbed another dango stick and started to munch on it happily, making for a rather weird picture for those few that were currently in the restaurant. All of them were currently looking at Yuna's table because the sound of Anko's chair hitting the floor attracted their attention. They saw Anko with 2 kunai in her hand looking at a calmly eating girl they couldn't see properly due to Anko standing in their field of view. Anko didn't exactly have a good reputation with the civilians either, so they immediately started whispering to each other. No way, has that snake traitor finally snapped? She actually dares to attack a young girl in broad daylight. I heard she has been attacking people at night for quite a while now, but to think she would even dare to do so in the middle of the day. Shouldn't someone get the ANBU here? The more she heard, the more annoyed Anko became. She threw a vicious look at everyone present to make them shut up and then sat back down in front of Yuna. You shitty brat tricked me. Yup. But you tried to trick me first, so we are even now. *tisk**, fine. This round was my loss. So, tell me where you got this seal from? I found it in a garbage bin. I met an ancient-looking man that gave it to me. I seduced Daimyo's daughter and she gave it to me as a gift to reward my prowess. Fine, I'll tell you the real source. I'm actually a goddess that is stuck inside a mortal body and I made it myself. Fine, whatever, since you said it will be available on the market soon, I will find out soon enough, anyway. Indeed. Your genin test will be tomorrow at 8 in the morning on training field 15. If you're late, I will fail you directly. I'm leaving first. Yeah. See you tomorrow. I am looking forward to it. What are your plans for her? We will see. She should be pretty fun to be around after she opened up to me a bit more. She earned herself a lot of bonus points when she easily admitted her defeat as well. I should probably work on getting rid of that ugly cursed seal as well. I agree. I would rather not spend too much time hanging around something that gives off such a disgusting presence. Indeed, and after that, it is straight into the harem with her. So that was your real goal, huh? I'm just kidding. I still need some time to see if her personality is likable. And if she is even interested, after all. Let's go home for now and see how Naruto's and Hinata's day went. Chapter 59, Anko Mitarashi. I will slowly start to fix some of the grammatical and spelling mistakes I made in the earlier chapters. That won't affect people that read my FIC on ScribbleHub, but people that read on WebNovel will have their paragraph comment erased if I corrected something in that paragraph. It is a bit of a pity that some comments will be lost like that, but I think having fewer mistakes in my story has priority. Additionally, I am aware that Anko is not a jonin in canon, but she is in my story. It would be weird for Yuna to be the only one with a non-jonin sensei, after all. Author note end. It was the next day, and Yuna was currently leaning against a tree at training field 15 and was relaxing. It was already past 8 and Yuna could feel Anko observing her from afar. Seems like she wants to play another round. Oh well, let's make it short. Yuna's eyes slowly closed as her breathing grew calmer and just a few seconds later it seemed like she fell asleep completely. Anko used that chance to throw a senbon at Yuna that would leave a slight scratch on her cheek. Yuna, however, tilted her head to the side while sleeping, and as a result, the senbon would hit her straight in the face. She could feel how Anko started to panic and quickly approach her, but it was already too late and the senbon hit Yuna straight in the face. Shit kid, are you ALR? After Anko got a good look at Yuna's face, she stopped speaking. The senbon she had thrown was caught by Yuna with her teeth and she was currently holding it in her mouth like a certain jonin. You should really switch to less dangerous pranks, Anko. Instead of getting annoyed, however, Anko smirked at Yuna. There was actually poison on that, you know. Yuna paused for a moment and then took the whole senbon into her mouth. A few moments later she spat it out and caused it to get stuck into a tree. A mild paralysis poison, huh? No big deal. She casually stood up and dusted off her clothes, the poison seemingly having no effect on her. Anko, however, was more occupied with the senbon that was stuck into the tree. Does she know how to use hidden weapons? Spitting out a senbon with enough force to sink it into a tree isn't easy at all. Yuna could more or less guess what she was thinking, so she gave her own comment. Don't worry about that. I'm just very good with my mouth. Anko only raised her eyebrows at that unexpected innuendo. Was that formulated like that on purpose or was it a coincidence? I can't read her at all. Anyway, let's start the test, shall we? Since you wanted someone who specializes in infiltration and assassination, I decided to test your abilities in that regard. Since testing assassination is a little hard right now and we have nothing to infiltrate, I will test something that can be used for both. Seducing your target. I will transform into different people and you will have to figure out the best way to approach them. Hee, you damn brat. Let's see how you embarrass yourself trying to seduce someone. This should be fun. Yuna, however, had completely different thoughts. She just asked me to put her into my harem, didn't she? I don't think yes. Hush now, I need to concentrate. I need to channel my inner pervert to release my full, arrow, power. Right. Sound interesting, let's go ahead. Enko was slightly taken aback by Yuna's confidence. She especially felt that something clearly was wrong when Yuna looked at her and licked her lips like there was a remarkably juicy piece of meat in front of her. Oh okay, let's start. Enko made a ram seal and transformed into a thuggish-looking man. A scar on the face, greedy eyes, dirty clothes. It was pretty much Thug D that gets defeated in a single frame together with his other thug buddies. Yuna could only roll her eyes at the super easy difficulty level. She also made the ram seal and transformed as well. What was revealed was a mature-looking beauty, but her looks really weren't that important for that kind of target. The posture was important. Lowered head, nervous eyes, and shaky steps. That is what would truly attract a Thug D. People he thinks are weaker than him. Yuna walked towards Enko with unsure steps. She was constantly looking left and right and was clearly nervous about the situation. Enko, meanwhile, was still dumbfounded at how easily Yuna switched personalities. She only awoke from her stupor when the transformed Yuna walked past her and slightly bumped into her. Enko immediately understood what she was going for and couldn't help but smirk a little. She immediately turned around to speak to Yuna. Hey, you. You just bumped into me. Yuna seemed to be like a frightened bunny and turned around with fear in her eyes. I am sorry. I didn't notice at all. Enko really wanted to compliment Yuna's acting but decided to keep going for now. Hee, a little sorry won't cut it, you know. That's seriously hurt. Enko approached Yuna and slowly forced her back against a tree. Enko lifted one of her hands and pushed it against the tree right next to Yuna's face while closing the distance even further. The compensation will be quite expensive, but... Enko lecherously scanned Yuna's body with her eyes. I don't mind if you pay with your body. Her other hand shot forwards and grabbed Yuna's but causing her to deadpan. You are still aware that this is supposed to be a test, right? Enko's face immediately became awkward. Cough I might have gotten a little bit too into it. Enko, you are still grabbing my butt. Alright, you definitely passed the first part. Let's go for the next one. Enko quickly took some distance and made the ram seal again. She really wants to get into my harem, doesn't she? After what just happened, I am not even sure anymore. This time, Enko went for another cliché. She turned into a typically rich, young master. Gaudy clothes, arrogant face, and a body posture that screamed, look at me, I am a big shot. Yuna had to admit that Enko was indeed very skilled in changing her demeanor. However, this was another easy target. Yuna quickly did the ram seal again and transformed. Another beauty appeared, but this time she was much more seductive. She showed a lot of skin and her assets seemed to be moments away from spilling out of her clothes. While approaching Enko, she was swinging her hips flirtatiously. Oh my, hello young master. You are looking quite heroic today. Enko couldn't help but take a step back. Yuna's first transformation already hit her pretty hard, but since Yuna was the passive party, Enko didn't think too much about it. Now, however, it was completely different. Yuna's enticing voice echoed in her head while her swaying hips captivated her and easily shattered her defenses. What the hell is happening? Why am I getting this flustered? Shouldn't I have more resistance against something like this? How can I get this shaken, even though I know what she is doing? Seeing how Anko was struggling more and more to keep a clear mind, Yuna almost started to chuckle. This was the difference between someone as ancient as her and someone whose age hasn't even reached the third digit. Yuna was analyzing where exactly Anko was looking during her approach and was moving in a way that made those body parts especially stick out. When seducing someone at a high level, a lot of body language was involved and Yuna could interpret and simulate all of it perfectly. Before Anko even understood what was going on, Yuna was already next to her and pressed Anko's arm between her breasts. "Oh, my young master has quite a bit of muscle. Are you perhaps working out?" Hearing Yuna's voice right next to her ear, a shudder went through her whole body. Anko hasn't even noticed that she had dropped her transformation. Yuna moved in even further so her mouth was right next to Anko's ear. "Anko, come on, play with me." Yuna's needy voice almost drove Anko over the edge, but Yuna chose this moment to deal the killing blow. "Big sis, Anko, let's play Lutz." After finishing that sentence, Yuna lightly bit into Anko's earlobe, which seems to be the breaking point. A bit of blood started to leak out of her nostrils as she jumped at Yuna, pushing her onto the ground. The moment Yuna reached the ground, however, she turned into a puff of smoke and left a bewildered Anko behind. She quickly scanned her surroundings and quickly found Yuna, leaned against a tree with a teasing smile on her face. Seeing Yuna's teasing smile, Anko realized what just happened and her face immediately turned crimson red. "Why I did." Seeing how Anko was getting more and more flustered, Yuna couldn't help but chuckle a little. Don't worry about it. In fact. Yuna approached Anko, lifted up her chin with her hand and gave a chaste kiss on the cheek. "If you want to play, I don't mind at all." Anko was, yet again, dumbfounded, but recovered much faster this time. She couldn't help but laugh out loud when she heard Yuna's proclamation. "Ha, not bad, Yuna. You are quite the pervert, I am impressed. As for having some fun together, I don't mind." Yuna nodded in satisfaction. Although Anko only became something like buddy, that was a decent start, for now. Right, there is something we totally forgot about." Yuna rolled her eyes at that. She had a pretty good idea of what Anko was talking about. "You want to do the introduction, huh?" Of course. This has become somewhat of a tradition. Fine. Let's go. You start, I follow. I wanted to do this in the sensei role for a while now. My name is Anko Mitarashi. I like dango and I dislike spicy food. My hobby is learning how to arrange tea ceremonies and conducting them. My dream for the future is... The atmosphere immediately grew more oppressive. Killing Orochimaru and completely freeing myself from his grasp. As soon as she said those last words, she regretted them. Shit, what am I doing? Why did I reveal that to Yuna? To Anko's surprise, however, Yuna only nodded her head. I am not surprised you want to get away from his influence. That mark on you feels truly disgusting. Anko was even more shaken when she heard that. Why you know about the mark? Yuna, however, only shrugged her shoulders. I am quite a powerful censor. I noticed it the first time we met. If you think I will discriminate against you because of that, you should first think about what kind of mark I am bearing. Hey, that is quite rude. Don't be like this. No matter what kind of relationship we have, people will still think that having you sealed within me is a curse. You should have learned by now not to bother about others. Yeah. I know that you are just spouting your usual nonsense to pacify someone. Now that is just rude from your side. If it helps, it can't be nonsense in my opinion. Yuna felt how Kurama rolled his eyes but didn't say anything more about the situation. Yuna noticed that Anko had calmed down after her reminder and decided to start her own introduction. Well, might as well get my own introduction out of the way. I'm Yuna Uzumaki. I like my family members and friends. Additionally, I enjoy fighting and pranking people. I dislike people that think they are big shots because they are related to someone important. My hobby is playing around with ice, and as for my dreams for the future, There are 3 of them. First, I want to kill a certain man. Second, I want to build a harem for myself. And third. Yuna's presence seemed to swell as a dignified aura of power and confidence started to radiate out of her. Her chakra leaked out and caused the ground around her to crack as she proclaimed her third dream. I want to surpass everyone who stands in my way and eclipse this world's most powerful being. As Yuna announced her last dream, Enko really wanted to laugh at how ridiculous it was, but she couldn't. She felt like the smallest bit of objection would result in her being crushed into the ground. Her instincts were telling her that only those that actually dare to oppose that dream had any right to speak up right now. What the hell is she? Just how strong is her will for it to feel this oppressive? Rather than a young girl, she feels like a warrior that went through hell and returned. For a split second, Yuna's fourth explanation on how she got her hands on that seal flashed through her head, but she quickly dismissed it. That is simply too ridiculous. Wait a moment. Didn't she just say something about a harem? Did I somehow become part of that? Now that I think about it, wouldn't it be pretty hot to sleep with more? No, Enko. Bad Enko. Calm down, control your desire. Even if I control it, somehow my desire still tells me that it would probably be pretty hot to sleep with more people all at once. Did I somehow get trapped into this without noticing? What the hell happened? Whatever, if it is hot, it is hot. That is all that counts. Chapter 60, How to Raid a Bandit Camp. It has been a few weeks since Yuna and Enko met. Yuna had expected Enko to take her offer immediately, but she seems to be hesitating. Does my age bother her? Should I just transform and attack her? That might be pretty fun considering my new body doesn't feel much sexual lust yet. I actually don't mind waiting, though. Oh well, Enko seems to be getting more and more pissed off by the D-rank missions, so I'm pretty sure another interesting event is right around the corner. The duo was currently in the Hokage's office, while they waited for Hiruzen to choose a new mission for them. Mchich, how about this one? The restaurant on the main street needs someone to help peel. Absolutely not. Seems like Enko finally snapped. Hokage-sama, please give us a real mission. At least make it C-rank. D-rank missions are made with team exercise between genin in mind. What point is there if there is only one genin in my team? Now, calm down Enko. It is normal for genin to do quite a few D-rank missions, so they can get used to the shinobi life. A genin, fresh out of the academy, simply isn't ready for C-rank missions yet and needs more training from their jonin sensei. As soon as Hiruzen finished that sentence, he knew he messed up. Enko and Yuna were both looking at him like he was an idiot. Shit, I should have made up a better argument. Like, only genin with a certain amount of D-rank missions can take higher ranking ones. No, it appears that Yuna went out of her way to read quite a few of Konoha's laws. She might actually expose my lie. Hiruzen took another drag from his pipe and gave a long sigh. Fine, but don't tell anybody about this. At least not until I gave a C-rank mission to another team, or those new teams will relentlessly annoy me about getting higher rank missions. Yes, old man. Hiruzen could feel his eyebrows twitch a little, but decided to ignore it. He took out a scroll that had a big C written on it and tossed it towards Enko. A simple scouting mission along Konoha's borders. Your patrol path is written on the scroll. The whole mission takes a week. If you find something suspicious, only engage it when you are confined. Hiruzen, yet again, cursed his big mouth when he saw the glimmer of excitement in Enko's and Yuna's eyes. Damn it, I should have told them to engage under no circumstances. Hee, don't worry, old man. We will be really careful. Indeed. Don't worry old man, I, naturally, won't allow Yuna to encounter anything dangerous all on her own, hee. Hiruzen really wanted to say more, but he decided to simply give up. It's not like these two mad women will listen to me anyway. Might as well set them loose and see what happens. Although Enko occasionally goes a little overboard during her missions, she usually completes them pretty much without a flaw, so I am not that worried. 2 days later, Yuna and Enko had started their patrol at Konoha's borders. Both of them were currently hiding inside a tree while observing a bandit camp they found completely out of coincidence. They just had to climb over a small mountain and cross a few kilometers of forests to reach it, so it was basically on the way of their patrol path. Truly a stupid mistake by those bandits to create their hideout in the middle of Konoha's routine patrol path. Well, before we charge and investigate this bandit camp, I need to know if you have killed a human before, Yuna? Yeah, I have, don't worry about that. More importantly, how do you want to do this? I can sense around 10 people that are probably used by these bandits to relieve themselves. I would rather not have a hostage situation on my hand, so we should probably do this stealthily. By the way, most of the bandits are slightly stronger than civilians, with 3 being at the genin level and the leader being a high genin. Your sensing skills sure are ridiculous, aren't they? Hee, of course. I have been dodging ANBU since I was 3 after all. Do you mind if I go after the boss? Killing the leader of a bandit group looks pretty good on the report of my first C-rank mission. Well, I don't really care. How confident are you in killing him? Killing him is 100%, and killing him without anybody in the camp noticing is also 100%. So, no worries. Fine, whatever. If you are that confident, then show me what you got. If you mess up, I'll just have to save your ass. No big deal. Yuna could only smirk at that provocation. She jumped down the tree and approached the bandit camp. She stealthily approached the 2 people guarding the gate, and before they could even realize the situation, 2 Yunas appeared behind them, covered their mouth and slit their throat, killing them instantly. She immediately stored the 2 bodies inside the weapon holster she had expanded with seals and then transformed into the 2 guards herself. Enko, meanwhile, couldn't help but be dumbfounded by how easy that looked from an outsider's perspective. One of the 2 transformed Yunas, meanwhile, was approaching the tent of this bandit camp's boss with a panicked expression on her face. She was just about to enter when she was stopped by the 2 guards standing in front of it. Stop, the boss is busy right now. No one is allowed to enter. Yuna almost rolled her eyes when she heard that he was busy. Considering the sounds coming out of the tent, it was rather obvious what he was busy with. Yuna, of course, wouldn't be stopped this easily. Her panicked face grew more and more impatient. I don't have time for this. Konoha's shinobi might be approaching our camp right at this moment. I have to report to the boss right now. The face of the guard immediately became stiff when they heard that. Having a bunch of shinobi coming after their camp is pretty much a death sentence, after all. This time they didn't say anything when Yuna entered the tent. As soon as she entered the tent, she couldn't help but shake her head. While the bandit boss was vigorously swinging his hips, the woman only lay there unmoving. I really don't get how people could enjoy something like that. Where is the fun in sleeping with a woman if she doesn't squirm under your touch while moaning in pleasure? Oh well, might as well kill him while he is distracted. Yuna casually approached the bandit boss and pierced his neck with a senbon, killing him instantly without spilling much blood. The woman under him widened her eyes in shock when the man on top of her suddenly slumped over. She probably would have exclaimed something in shock if it wasn't for the gentle hand that carefully covered her mouth. When the woman's almost dead eyes met Yuna ocean deep purple eyes, she immediately calmed down. Yuna gave her a gentle smile, made a shushing motion, and then showed off the Konoha headband she wore on her upper left arm. The woman, yet again, widened her eyes as she nodded in understanding. Yuna quickly stored the body of the bandit boss inside her weapon holster, created an additional 2 shadow clones, and transformed herself into the bandit boss. She came out of the tent and immediately gave some orders to the 2 people guarding the entrance. Clean up in there. When you are done, I want everyone in this camp to meet in the middle of the camp. I have an important announcement to make. Yes, boss. Unfortunately for them, the moment they entered the tent, they got killed by Yuna's clones, who quickly copied their appearance and started to spread the word of their meeting. Another 10 minutes passed and quite the large group had gathered in front of a small podium that was hastily created. Yuna was standing in the middle of it, while the 3 genin-level bandits stood behind her like it was natural. She casually turned around and eyed the 3 of them. Is everybody here? Yes, Boss. Everyone in this camp is here. Very good. Well, prepare yourselves for the announcement, all of you. Yuna made a dramatic pause, and as soon as she did, huge fireballs started to fly towards the gathered bandits. Yuna immediately turned around and killed the 3 Genin-level bandits before they could properly understand the situation, and then jumped into the fray with a vicious smirk on her face as she completed her announcement. We'll die today. 2 minutes later, not a single bandit was still alive, while Yuna's and Enko's faces seemed to be glowing in satisfaction. Yuna was the first to speak. Phew, that sure was unlucky. To think we would accidentally stumble into a bandit camp and had no other way out but to fight our way out of it. We really are unlucky. Yeah, I know what you mean. Isn't it especially weird that the bandits insisted on fighting until every last one of them was dead? Yeah, how curious. Oh well, now that we rescued all these captured women, I guess we need to return to Konoha early and escort them back. We could do that, or I make a bunch of shadow clones to escort them back. Truth be told, my sense of direction is pretty bad, but I am sure we just have to walk in that direction for a while and we will be back on our proper patrol path. Don't want to fail my first C-rank mission after all. After Enko noticed that Yuna clearly wasn't pointing in the direction of their patrol path, she couldn't help but smirk. Haha, that's true. I can't have my first student fail her first C-rank mission after all. My sense of direction is also pretty bad, so just lead the way. Chapter 61, Start of Wave Mission. It has been a few days since Yuna and Enko got their mission, and the duo had just returned and handed in their mission report to the Hokage. Even Yuna couldn't help but feel a little sheepish. Maybe we went a little too far? A little. Asterisk cough asterisk oh okay, we clearly went too far, but I am the one that wrote the mission report. No matter how suspicious the old man gets, the whole report is flawless. The whole story is cohesive and without any suspicious elements. Even if he tries to investigate it to find out whether the whole thing is true or not, he will find nothing. Hiruzen, meanwhile, was reading the report and his frown grew more and more pronounced by the second. What the hell this? Although everything is written down professionally and concisely, why does it feel like I am reading a book about the adventures of 2 girls that stumble from one accident into the next? After he finished reading the report, Hiruzen took a deep drag of his pipe. After exhaling all the smoke, he started speaking. So, in conclusion, of your 7-day-long mission, you spent 2 days simply traveling to the border. On the 5 remaining days, you destroyed 6 small bandit camps, with about 20 people each, 2 bigger ones with around 50 people each, repelled a shinobi team from IWA that tried to sneak in through the land of grass, and got rid of 2 B-rank missing nin that have a bingo book entry. Did I forget anything? Okay, now that he lists them all back to back, we really have overdone it quite a bit. Despite her inner thoughts, Yuna shook her head with an innocent smile, which was mimicked by Enko. No, that was all of it. Hiruzen could only groan when he saw Yuna's innocent smile. Whatever, it is not like they did something bad. The fewer bandits, the better, and those missing nin won't be missed either. Whatever, just get out of my office. Next time at least show some restraint please. The duo was just about to exit the office when a small dog jumped in through the window and immediately started to speak. Hokage-sama, there is some trouble with Kakashi's team. Hiruzen's face immediately fell when he heard that. Not because Kakashi's team was in trouble, but because Yuna was here and heard about it. The mix of excitement and interest painted a rather obvious picture of what she was thinking about. Damn it, can't this day just end? 2 days before Yuna returned to Konoha, it was yet again time for Team 7 to get a new mission. After a bit of searching, Hiruzen found the scroll he was looking for and pulled it out. Seeing the D written on the scroll, Naruto's eyelids twitched a little. Yo, old man, you got the wrong one. The one you are looking for has a C written on it. Although the other 2 genins didn't say anything, Naruto could clearly feel that they had similar thoughts. Now, Naruto. It is still too early for your team to take on a C-rank mission. It is normal for genins to do many more D-rank missions, so they can get used to the shinobi life and get accustomed to working together. A genin, fresh out of the academy, simply isn't ready for C-rank missions and needs more training from their Jonin sensei. Oh? But didn't you give Nasan one? Hiruzen could immediately feel a few eyes staring at him accusingly. Huh, Naruto, what might you be talking about? Hehe, no need to play dumb. We are living together after all. What kind of D-rank mission takes more than one day? She hasn't come home for 5 days now. Naruto and Hiruzen kept eye contact for a while before Hiruzen let out an annoyed sigh. Fine, Kakashi, do you think Team 7 is ready for a C-rank mission? Feeling 3 pairs of eyes zero in on him, Kakashi could only smile wryly. Do I even have a choice? Oh well, considering Naruto's and to a lesser extent Sasuke's strength, there shouldn't be any problems. There will be no problems, Hokage-sama. I understand. I already have a mission for you in mind. You will be charged with protecting an important individual. This immediately got the attention of the 3 genins. Even Sasuke seemed to be excited to finally get a real mission. He has actually been waiting for a while now. I will get someone to call him over right now. 2 minutes later, a drunken old man stumbled into the room. What the hell? It is just a bunch of weak-looking brats. Especially the one with the huge forehead looks like she is about to fall over from a gust of wind. Who are you calling weak, shitty old man? Now, Sakura, calm down. This is probably our client, after all. That's right. I am the bridge-building expert Tazuna, and you are expected to protect me until I get back to my country and finish building the bridge. At 8 in the morning of the next day, there was a slight commotion in front of Konoha's gates. Holy crap, Kakashi-sensei is actually on time. Naruto quickly put his hands together and flared his chakra. Kai. What the hell, why can't I get out of this genjutsu? While Sakura chuckled a little and one of the corners of Sasuke's mouth started to twitch, Tazuna had no idea what was going on, while Kakashi pretended that he didn't hear anything. Well, let's start walking. It will take us a while to reach the land of waves at a civilian's pace. While the group was slowly walking towards the land of waves, Naruto noticed something rather peculiar. 2 chakra signatures are following us. They are around mid-Chunin. Let's see what Kakashi-sensei thinks about that. Kakashi-sensei, since this is our first C-rank mission, would like to ask a few questions. Kakashi immediately noticed that something was off when Naruto spoke, first C-rank, a little bit louder than the remaining sentences. Has he noticed someone following us? He probably wants the enemies to underestimate our strength by revealing that kind of information, but considering his rather ridiculous sensing range, I doubt anyone could spy in on our conversation yet. He is probably used to Yuna's even more ridiculous range and doesn't know what is considered normal yet. For now, let's play along and see how he handles the situation. Sure, go ahead. We are still in the land of fire after all. The chances of us being attacked is pretty much 0. Naruto's face took on an innocent expression as he asked his question. Since we are finally out of Konoha for a C-rank mission, won't we fight a ninja or 2? This should be really exciting, right? So, 2 people, huh? More importantly, how the hell does he manage to look stupid and innocent while revealing that 2 enemies are approaching us? Although there probably is no better facade to trick your enemies, it isn't exactly easy to look innocent when you are a shinobi that actually gets paid to kill people. Well, he hasn't killed anyone yet, maybe that is the reason why he can still smile like that? I don't think so. C-rank missions rarely involve fighting other shinobi. As soon as Kakashi finished speaking, both Naruto and Kakashi noticed that Tazuna seemed to fidget a little after hearing Kakashi's sentence. The 2 gave each other knowing looks before Naruto started speaking again with an annoyed pout on his face. That's so lame. I wanted to defeat a strong ninja and be immediately promoted to Chunin. Both of them are Chunin level, huh? Might as well have my genin give it a shot then. Kakashi chuckled a little before he answered Naruto. I see. If some shinobi appear, I will just have you guys handle it then. Naruto's eyes immediately sparkled with excitement. Really? That's awesome, Kakashi-sensei. That was rather well done. I have already noticed that Yuna is incredibly quick-witted, but Naruto isn't too bad either. A pity the other two aren't paying him any attention. Stealthily informing your teammates about something isn't easy, after all. Although the sign language the ANBU uses is pretty useful, it only hides what you talked about and can't hide that you just transmitted some information to your teammates. After another 10 minutes of walking, Naruto felt that the two chakra signatures seemed to have stopped a few hundred meters in front of the group, and after a few additional moments of walking, Naruto noticed two small puddles of water on the ground. He had to use all his willpower to not roll his eyes at the obvious trap. Kakashi, meanwhile, was suppressing a chuckle when he saw Naruto's reaction to the trap in front of them. It might be obvious if you are looking for a trap, but someone inexperienced could easily oversee those water puddles. As soon as the group passed the two puddles, two shinobi that had a chain connected to each other jumped out of it and immediately entangled Kakashi with it. Both of them yanked on the chain and immediately tore Kakashi to shreds. First one. Kakashi-sensei. The two immediately appeared in front of Naruto and tried to entangle him with the chain as well. Second O. Pow bang. Naruto smashed his fist into the face of his assailant, which caused him to be sent flying into a tree. Sasuke, meanwhile, threw a shuriken at the chain that connected the two shinobi and then nailed it into a tree with a precise kunai throw, just in time for Naruto to punch the second one in the stomach to send him flying as well and cause the chain connecting the two of them to disconnect. Hehe, not bad Sasuke. How about we take one each? Humph, I will finish mine quickly, so try not to die before I am done with mine. Huh, as arrogant as always, huh? Oh well, let's do it. Sakura, please protect Tazuna from possible stray fire while we deal with these two. Don't want our client to die from a random kunai after all. Although Sakura had no idea what was going on, she only nodded her head in understanding. Blocking stray kunai is something she has the confidence to do. The two enemy shinobi gave each other a nod and then charged forward. While one of them was aiming his throwing weapons at Naruto and Sasuke, the other one was bluntly charging at Tazuna while ignoring everything else. Naruto immediately understood what was going on. They really are after Tazuna, huh? Instead of C rank, this mission is probably B rank, hehe, I bet Nei-san will be really jealous when I tell her about it. I can't wait. Considering the current situation, Naruto quickly made a decision. Sasuke, help Sakura protect Tazuna, I got this. Naruto quickly took out a bunch of shurikens and threw them at the weapons that were currently being thrown at Naruto and Sasuke. Although Sasuke was skeptical at first, after scanning the situation he quickly realized that Naruto's shuriken would perfectly block the ones used by the hostile shinobi. Although he was slightly surprised by Naruto's accuracy, he, nevertheless, acted quickly and appeared between Sakura and the approaching shinobi. Sasuke was just about to clash with him when Kakashi appeared and knocked him out instantly. That was pretty good. Good reactions from Naruto and Sasuke and good job remembering to assign someone to protect the client Naruto. Although you reacted quickly after receiving orders from Naruto, you froze up when the battle started. I won't blame you since that is pretty normal for fresh genin, but this is definitely something we have to work on. Instead of reacting to Kakashi's assessment, a rather awkward silence descended onto the battlefield as soon as Kakashi finished speaking. The first one to break it was Naruto. What the hell, Kakashi-sensei? Things were just about to get interesting, why did you interrupt us like that? Now, Naruto, calm down. We shouldn't leave out client anxious for too long after all. You are talking about the client that paid the price for a C-rank mission and wants the team he hired to complete a B-rank mission? I don't see any reason to not have him struggle a bit. Tazuna's face immediately paled when he heard Naruto casually exposing his lies. Considering how the people that were supposed to escort him were currently looking at him, he already knew that he was in trouble. After quite a bit of back and forth, a decision was finally made. Team 7 would continue the mission, but Kakashi would send Pakken, one of his summoned ninja dogs, back to Konoha and make a request for backup. After everything was resolved, Team 7 continued their journey to the Land of Waves, unaware of what kind of dangers were awaiting them there. Chapter 62, Zabuza Momochi. It has been a day since Team 7 had been attacked. After reaching the sea, a man with a small boat ferried them over to the land of waves, where they quickly disembarked and quietly made their way to a nearby forest to hide from possible observers. After the battle finished, Sasuke would occasionally glare at Naruto, and the more time passed the more often he did so. Naruto has finally had enough and snapped. "Sasuke, if you want to say something, then just do so. You, constantly glaring at me is getting annoying." This, however, seemed to make Sasuke even more annoyed. Nevertheless, he still answered Naruto. "How did you manage to actually attack those two? While we were at the academy, you were one of the weakest in the class. How did you manage to get this much of a boost in strength?" Naruto could only roll his eyes at how simple-minded Sasuke is. Rather than being interested in my strength, he thinks that I use some kind of trick to suddenly power up and wants to do the same as well. Just how hungry for power is he? The reason why I was one of the weakest in the academy was because I wanted to be seen that way. I won't give you any details, but some nasty things were happening in the background that prevented me from showing my real strength. Now that I have graduated, there no longer is a need to hide, so I am showing what I can do. Sasuke only sneered at Naruto when he heard that Naruto was holding back. In his opinion, holding back was just stupid, especially if it makes people weaker than you make fun of you. What a stupid lie. If Naruto actually had that kind of strength during his days at the academy, he would have obviously taught everyone that was mocking him a lesson. Guess he doesn't want to tell me how a loser like him suddenly got enough strength to almost match my own. Well, I wouldn't tell him a secret like that either, but I will get it out of him sooner rather than later. Sasuke was just about to give a snarky reply when Naruto's head snapped to the side and his eyes widened in surprise. Shinobi approaching. Jonin level. Naruto immediately took out 2 kunai and placed himself between the approaching enemy and Tazuna, while Sasuke and Sakura were only giving him weird looks. Kakashi still looked rather casual, but since he has actually put away the book he has been reading, he was clearly prepared for battle as well. Another few seconds passed before Sakura started to speak. "What are you raising a false alarm for like that, Edie? Duck." Naruto and Kakashi reacted pretty much simultaneously, Kakashi due to his vast experience on the battlefield and Naruto because of his superior sensing capability. Naruto pushed Tazuna's head down, while Kakashi did the same for Sakura, while Sasuke managed to duck in time on his own. Just a split second later, a huge sword came flying above their heads and then got stuck into a tree. Moments later, a tall muscular man stepped onto the handle of the sword. He was shirtless, had black, short, spiky hair and barely visible eyebrows while covering his face with bandages. Naruto immediately grew tense when he saw that man. Kakashi-sensei, seems like this B rank mission just got upgraded to A rank. That seems to be the case, Naruto. Demon of the Hidden Mist, Zabuza Momochi, I didn't expect to encounter someone like him on this mission. Indeed. I didn't expect to meet the famous Sharingan Kakashi either. How about you just hand over the old man and we part ways without a conflict? Protect Tazuna. This one is in a completely different league. I will have to get serious. After he said that, Kakashi pulled up his headband and revealed his Sharingan. To think I would see the famous Sharingan, I am honored, but... Zabuza vanished and reappeared on a nearby source of water. Let's see how great your Sharingan works, when you can't see properly. Water release, hiding in mist technique. A dense mist immediately appeared and flooded the whole area, making it pretty much impossible to see further than a few meters ahead of yourself. Be careful, Zabuza is an expert in silent killing. Stay close together and protect each other. I will deal with him. Although Kakashi sounded confident, in his mind he could only curse his bad luck again and again. Not only did he encounter a Jonin-level threat on his first real mission with his team, but it is someone with a very effective counter against the Sharingan as well. An oppressive silence descended onto the battlefield, while everyone was waiting for Zabuza's attack. Suddenly, Zabuza's voice seemed to echo over the battlefield from everywhere at the same time. 8 choices. Liver, lungs, spine, cervical vein, neck vein, brain, kidneys, and heart. Which one should I go for? Dense killing intent flooded the whole battlefield. Kakashi put his hands together in front of him and unleashed his own presence, causing it to violently clash with Zabuza's. Feeling two very powerful wills clash against each other, Naruto quickly took a look at his two teammates and almost clicked his tongue in annoyance. Sakura was completely frozen up, which, truth be told, wasn't much of a surprise for Naruto. This kind of battle is not something a normal genin should experience, after all. Seeing that Sasuke was almost hyperventilating at the pressure, however, left Naruto quite disappointed. Is that really all he amounts to? Nei-san told me about the tragedy of the Uchiha clan, so I am not really surprised at the way he acts in front of other people, but why is he so weak? Shouldn't he push himself with everything he's got? Take every opportunity he gets to improve his strength? Have an iron-like will that keeps pushing him forward? Why does his will crumble this easily? What Naruto didn't understand was that he was the abnormal one. Or rather, the people around him were abnormal. Now that he has grown older, he understood just how ridiculous it was for Yuna to basically become his guardian at the age of 3. He understood just how miserable his life would have been without his sister who shouldered everything for him without a single complaint and allowed him to have a pretty normal childhood. The second abnormal person he met was, naturally, Hinata. Instead of having her whole family killed like Sasuke, she was thrown away by her family instead. Left to die on the streets of Konoha. Naruto could still remember how Hinata was when she first arrived at their home. She was completely broken and pretty much incapable of speaking a full sentence. Despite that, she kept pushing herself and with the help of the twins, she managed to build herself up again. Every day she grew more and more confident and after a few months, she had reached a level where she basically didn't care about her previous family anymore. Due to constantly being together with these two people, Naruto actually got a rather weird image of people that went through some hardships in their life. While Naruto was contemplating Sasuke's reactions, the fight continued. Zabuza was still hidden, while Kakashi was still awaiting his surprise attack. Naruto, however, could easily track Zabuza's position inside the mist, and as soon as he noticed his intentions, his eyes widened. His target is Tazuna. He quickly informed Kakashi about the situation and then got into a position to defend himself. Moments later, Zabuza appeared in front of Team 7 and swung his cleaver in an attempt to behead Tazuna. Naruto appeared between the two and lifted 2 kunai to stop Zabuza's blow. As soon as Zabuza's sword hit Naruto's kunai, Naruto's feet dug into the ground as a groan escaped his lips. He was just about to activate Kurama's chakra when Kakashi appeared and attempted to stab Zabuza through the heart, which Zabuza, unfortunately, managed to avoid. "Are you alright, Naruto?" Naruto slightly shook his hands to get the numbness out of them before he answered. "Yeah, I am fine, but this guy hits really hard. If I wanted to fight him, I would probably need 2 or maybe even 3 tails." Although the other 2 members of Team 7 were rather confused by that statement, Kakashi, actually, knew what Naruto meant. Naruto had given Kakashi some information about his capabilities to make it easier to assign the appropriate roles to them in case of an emergency. That also meant that Kakashi was aware that 3 tails were currently still out of the question. I am surprised, Kakashi. One of those brats actually seems to be pretty decent. Not only did he not freeze up after feeling my killing intent, he even managed to stop one of my strikes. As one of the demon twins, it is only natural for him to be capable of at least this much, but all of that doesn't really matter, since you will die today. As soon as Kakashi finished that sentence, he pumped a massive amount of chakra into his left eye, which caused the Sharingan to spin like crazy. Let's finish this, Zabuza. Chapter 63, Fighting Zabuza. The fight between Zabuza and Kakashi was still in full throttle. Zabuza had already discarded stealth and was currently doing a head-on battle against Kakashi. The more those two clashed, the more annoyed Naruto became. Damn it, if I could go and support Kakashi-sensei actively, this would have been over a long time ago. I don't trust Sasuke enough to leave Tazuna's protection to him. Or rather, he will probably charge at the moment I make a move and forget everything else. Having the last Uchiha die while he is on a mission with me really isn't a good thing. How did this mission turn from protect the client to don't let the idiot charge and die? Just when Naruto was about to go into another mental rant, he saw Kakashi being flung away into the water, at the exact position where Zabuza was already waiting and had his chakra infused into the water. Shit, how the hell did that happen? If Kakashi-sensei gets trapped, things will get seriously dangerous. Naruto crossed his fingers in front of him. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Another 2 Naruto popped up beside the original one. I don't think 2 clones will be much of a shield against Zabuza, but it is better than nothing. Kakashi-sensei is in deep trouble. I am going in to support him. Keep protecting Tazuna. Naruto, immediately, started sprinting towards the water, where Kakashi was just about to be trapped inside Zabuza's jutsu. And, to no one's surprise, Sasuke was also running after Naruto. Damn it, he really acted like I thought he would. Whatever, no time to think about it now. I need to help Kakashi-sensei. Red chakra bubbled out of Naruto and formed a fox-like cloak with 2 tails around him. Instead of walking on 2 legs, Naruto bent forwards and started to run on his hands and feet, which was made feasible due to the chakra cloak mimicking the form of a fox. His speed, immediately, increased. He quickly reached the water and started running on it like it was no obstacle at all. Considering how much he trained his chakra control, walking on water was an easy matter for him. Oh? Are you fine with your 2 teammates knowing about this? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Saving Kakashi-sensei takes priority. Hehe, that's true, I guess. At least showing off my chakra made the Uchiha brat stop his reckless charge. Ugh, please don't mention him. He will probably pester me every day from now on to find out where I got this power. Why not show him? That should be fun. A twinkle of mischief appeared in Naruto's eyes before his face became serious again. That might be rather interesting, but let's talk about it later. It is time to get busy. Zabuza was just about to gloat at Kakashi for trapping him when a red chakra fist approached his stomach. Although he was surprised, he wasn't at the Jonin level for nothing and managed to block the fist with his sword. Blocking that kind of attack with only one hand and without proper preparations, however, had some consequences. Despite securing his feet on the water with chakra, he was pushed back a few meters and, as a consequence of that, failed to maintain Kakashi's water prison. Naruto quickly scanned the area and sighed in relief when he noticed that no hidden clones had appeared to go after Tazuna. Sorry Kakashi-sensei, but I had to leave our client almost unprotected to save you. Kakashi quickly glanced at his remaining genin team and could only shake his head at what he saw. Sakura was at least still standing next to Tazuna, but Sasuke was standing smack in the middle of nowhere, staring at Naruto like he had grown a second head. Don't worry about it, Naruto. Since you saved me, I can't exactly complain, can I? As soon as Kakashi finished that sentence, Zabuza appeared behind Naruto and swung his huge sword in an attempt to behead him. Naruto, however, already saw the attacking coming. Just like the first attack he blocked, he lifted up 2 kunai and stopped the attack head-on. This time, though, he didn't falter and stood his ground. Kakashi moved as well and was already moments away from piercing a kunai through Zabuza's shoulder. Zabuza wanted to pull his sword back, but to his surprise, his sword was grabbed by a red hand entirely made out of red bubbling chakra. This slight delay was enough for Kakashi's attack to hit its target and pierce Zabuza's shoulder, making one of his arms useless for now. Zabuza quickly jumped back to get some distance from the duo. He looked at his limp left arm and couldn't help but frown. This has gotten rather bad. Where in the world does that blonde kid get all that power from? After trapping Kakashi, I thought it was game over, but moments later one of my arms became useless and I am suddenly facing another powerful enemy. The brat isn't at Kakashi's level but is more than enough to spell my doom if he supports Kakashi. Guess I will have Haku pull me oh. Before Zabuza could finish his thoughts, a Senbon needle came flying and pierced through his neck. While Kakashi was surprised, Naruto really wanted to start cursing himself. Damn it, if Nasan finds out I was too occupied with my enemy to notice someone else approaching, she will surely scold me heavily. Kurama, you better keep quiet about this or I swear I will drag you into this pit together with me. Yeah, don't worry about it. My lips are sealed tight. Naruto nodded in satisfaction before he put his attention on the person that had just arrived. Thank you for helping me take care of Zabuza, I have been hunting him for quite a while now. Naruto immediately understood who that masked person was. A hunter Nin, huh? Guess it isn't surprising that someone like Zabuza would have someone like that following him around. As someone who was once part of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, his body should have tons of secrets that Kiri would rather not reveal to the outside. Kakashi and the hunter Nin talked for a short while, and after checking that Zabuza was actually dead, the hunter Nin took his corpse and left. For some reason, Naruto felt that something was off, but couldn't put his finger on it. He quickly forgot about that, when Kakashi, who was still standing next to him, pulled down his headband to cover his Sharingan and then staggered a little. Naruto, instantly, became worried, but Kakashi only waved him off. Don't worry about that. The Sharingan isn't exactly chakra efficient when it is used by non-Uchiha. Naruto nodded in acknowledgement and deactivated his chakra cloak. This time, it was his turn to falter a little. Although he hasn't exhausted his chakra as Kakashi did with his Sharingan, Naruto could clearly feel the strain using 2 tails put on him. How in the world can Nasan already use 3 tails? Aren't we doing the same training? I wouldn't worry about that too much. She has been a monster from day one. Being able to endure 2 tails worth of my chakra at your age is already quite the achievement. Naruto could only chuckle at that. Yeah, I am aware how peculiar Nasan is. Kakashi and Naruto returned to Tazuna and the rest of Team 7, and just when Kakashi was about to start talking, Naruto's head, yet again, snapped into a certain direction. Kakashi immediately got alerted when he saw that, but after noticing Naruto's smile, he relaxed a little. Seems like our reinforcements have arrived. Moments later, 2 people landed in front of Team 7. These 2 were Yuna and Anko. Yuna was the first to speak. Yo, you ordered some reinforcements. Here we are. Hehe, what happened to the blonde brat and you, Kakashi? Looks like you were put through the ringer. Kakashi quickly explained what they had been through so far, but instead of being surprised, Anko and Yuna had a very different reaction. An excited grin appeared on their face as they licked their lips like predators that are in front of an especially juicy piece of meat. While Sakura and Sasuke instinctively trembled in fear, Naruto and Kakashi could only smile wryly. They surprisingly had the same thought at the same time. Somehow, I pity whatever enemy might appear in front of us from now on. Chapter 64, at Tazuna's house. After Kakashi finished explaining the situation to Yuna and Anko, the group made their way towards Tazuna's home. Tazuna told the group that they could stay there while he finished building the bridge. While they were walking, Sasuke was constantly glaring at Naruto, but Naruto completely ignored him. Naruto himself couldn't help but frown. He knew something was off, but he couldn't put his finger on it. What's wrong, Naruto? You seem to be unhappy about something. I don't know, Nasan. I just feel like something was off about the situation with Zabuza, but I don't know what. Oh, I see. You probably think so, because there really was something off. Kakashi said that the hunter Nin took Zabuza away with him, but why would he do that? He could dispose of Zabuza's secrets right there. I guess that Shinobi was Zabuza's ally and Zabuza is actually still alive. As soon as Yuna finished her explanation, the whole group, except for Yuna, froze while Yuna was the only one who was still walking forward. She looked back at the group with confusion in her eyes. What? You hadn't figured that out yet? Kakashi could only groan and facepalm. Yuna is right, probably. Why not just dispose of the body right there? Why use Senbon to kill him? This whole thing is very suspicious. Zabuza is, very likely, still alive. While everyone was still in shock, the group reached Tazuna's house and were greeted by a young woman in her late 20s. This is my daughter Tsunami. Tsunami, these are the shinobi that were sent to protect me. Tsunami gave everyone a polite greeting which was returned by the group. They made their way to the living room and sat down. We should start preparing for the next battle against Zabuza. I have no doubt that he will have some more reinforcements during the next battle. That Hunternin will probably be there and maybe even more people. If another Jonin appears, things will get really dangerous. Luckily, we got some reinforcements as well. Enko is a Jonin just like me and Yuna. No need to worry about her strength. We spent last week raiding bandit camps and hunting missing Nins, so no worries. What Enko wanted to say was that we patrolled the border and, completely out of coincidence, got into a few combat situations that couldn't have been avoided. Yes. That totally is what happened. I misspoke just now. Just forget about it. What Yuna said is 100% the truth. Kakashi repeatedly looked from Enko to Yuna, and after contemplating some more he simply decided to forget what he just heard. His instincts were telling him that, for the sake of his sanity, he shouldn't ask any questions. Anyway. It will take some time for Zabuza to be back on his feet, so we should get some training in while we have time. Training. Even Enko couldn't help but wonder what kind of training could help someone get stronger in just a few days. Indeed. It might not make a difference if your enemy is someone like Zabuza, but it might give you an edge against other enemies we might face. That sounds really stupid. All eyes in the room locked onto the little boy who just said that. Inari. You can't speak to our guest like that. They are here to protect your grandpa. This is Inari, my son. Please forgive what he just said. Mom, these people are just going to die, anyway. Inari. Oh my. Why don't you tell us why we are all going to die? You got me really curious. Kakashi, immediately, got nervous when Yuna was the first to speak. He always had difficulties reading her intentions and never really understood her goals. He doubted that Yuna would actually attack a child that said something stupid, but he would rather be a little bit more cautious than to regret it later. Because there is no way you can win against Gato. Although Inari said that with confidence, Yuna only looked at him with confusion. She turned her head and looked at Kakashi. Could you give me a little reminder of who Gato is? Wasn't it Zabuza? He is the guy that hired Zabuza. Huh? Doesn't that mean he is just a money bag? Yuna looked back at Inari and was still completely confused by the situation until she finally understood what was going on. No way, you actually think Gato is the threat? Ptah, you can't be serious. Inari, naturally, got angry at how easily she dismissed Gato's threat. Of course, he is a threat. He has been terrorizing this land for a long time now. Phew, sorry about that, but you seem to have a little misunderstanding of how this world works. Gato is a threat to you. Civilians. We shinobi don't give a shit about him. If Zabuza wasn't following his own code of honor, he would simply kill Gato and all of his goons and take all the money he wanted. That would probably result in him being hunted with much more fervor than he currently is, but it could still easily be done. Remember this well, kid. Might makes right. No matter how much money or worthless goons you have, it takes only one powerful shinobi to take it all away. Inari was completely stunned by that. In his mind, Gato was invincible, but now, someone, who doesn't even see him as a threat, appeared. His eyes scanned the shinobi in front of him and stopped at Kakashi, who seems to be the leader of the group. Is this true? Kakashi was a little stunned by him suddenly becoming part of this conversation. He threw a glare at Yuna, but she somehow seemed to have managed to get into a very deep and interesting conversation with Naruto since she finished her speech 3 seconds ago. Kakashi could only awkwardly scratch his head and answer the question. Well, truth be told, I don't really care about Gato either. If I wasn't unsure whether there was another Jonin-level guard, I would probably sneak into his base and get rid of him in a day or two. Inari was completely shell-shocked by that revelation. The invincible image he had of Gato slowly started to crumble. He unsteadily walked up the stairs of the room and disappeared into the next floor. Yuna could see the worried look on Tazuna and Tsunami's faces, so she decided to re-enter the conversation. Don't worry about him. The first step to getting rid of a demon is to stop believing that it is invincible. Inari is currently taking that step and needs some time to think things through. Everyone was looking at Yuna in disbelief after that explanation. And you are calling me a big softy? I have already mentioned it rather early, but I dislike seeing children suffer. Inari is different from Sasuke. He might act tough, but he is probably crying every night due to whatever he has experienced. If a few words can help him get out of that, then why not? Yeah, that might be, but I am still calling you a big softy. Fine, whatever. Kakashi was the first one to regather his wits. Yuna, did you do that on purpose? Yuna only looked at him with confusion in her eyes. Did what on purpose? I only told the stupid brat how the world works. Power over money, that's how it is. Kakashi noticed how dismissive Yuna was about all that just happened and actually started to think that this was a coincidence as well. There is no way that is actually the case. She even analyzed the situation for Tazuna and Tsunami after all. It is really impossible to get a read on her. While Kakashi was still thinking, Yuna stood up and stretched a little. I am going for a wall, I am going to scout out the terrain around the house. See you later. Sure, have fun, Yuna. See you later, Nei-san. Yup, see you soon, Anko, Naruto, and the rest of you as well. After giving her farewells, Yuna casually walked out of the house while everyone except for Naruto and Anko looked at her completely dumbfounded. Wait a moment, Anko. Is it really okay to let Yuna leave like that? Mfitch. Yeah? Why wouldn't it be okay, Kakashi? She knows what she is doing. No, that is not what I am talking about. Aren't you supposed to be her sensei? Why do you allow her to leave just like that? Oh. Now that you mentioned it, I was indeed supposed to be her sensei, huh? Since we spent the last week having fun together, I totally forget about that. By the way, did you know that Yuna can spit out a senbon needle hard enough to pierce through 2 bandits at once? And I am not talking about the squishy parts. Nope. Straight through the head. Naruto's eyes immediately shone in excitement. Oh, I know about that one. Once while we were sparring against each other, Nei-san actually managed to hit both me and Hinata with the same senbon. It took me quite a while to realize where that senbon even came from. Anko's eyes also started to become excited. You are her little brother, right? I bet there are a ton of abnormal stories about her. Come on, tell me a few and in return, I will tell you how our, border patrol mission went. That's a deal. Guess I will just start. So, there was this one time. While Naruto and Anko started to exchange stories, Kakashi had no idea what to do about the situation. While Anko and Naruto didn't seem to be worried about Yuna at all, he couldn't help but feel worried. Naruto actually noticed that and couldn't help but chuckle a little. Hehe, what are you so worried about, Kakashi-sensei? Nei-san has been fighting everything around her pretty much from the start. Even if she gets trapped in a dangerous situation, she will just escape it. Although Kakashi was reluctant to admit it, he could only nod his head in agreement. Someone who could escape from an ANBU at the age of 3, naturally, wouldn't be caught easily. The remaining people in the room, meanwhile, looked at the people currently talking in disbelief. Naruto and Anko's stories about Yuna were already unbelievable enough, but Kakashi actually seems to acknowledge them as well, while basically admitting that, even if a Jonin were to appear, she would survive the encounter. The most affected by all of this was actually Sasuke, who clenched his fist again and again. How did she get this strong? No. It isn't just her. Naruto also got much more powerful after he left the academy. What kind of secret do they have? Did they discover something? Some kind of secret power. A secret way to increase your strength, maybe? I need to know. I absolutely need to find out about it and use it myself. This and my hatred should be enough to finally surpass Itachi. Chapter 65, Meeting Haku. In a meadow, deep inside the forest of the Land of Waves, a young girl was laying in the grass and was seemingly asleep. This girl was, of course, Yuna Uzumaki, but rather than being asleep, she was in deep meditation. Inside her mindscape, a huge fox, Kurama, was sitting cross-legged with the palms of his hands put together in front of him. On top of his head sat a mature beauty who seemed to be in her late 20s. She seemed to be a mature version of Yuna, and she was sitting in the same position as Kurama, as well. This was how Yuna's soul looked while in her mindscape if she didn't try to conceal it. Occasionally, a wisp of red violent chakra would leave Kurama's body and enter into Yuna's, while a wisp of blue soothing chakra would occasionally exit Yuna's body and enter Kurama's. This was the process of removing the corruption and hatred from Kurama's chakra. Yuna has started this process after the two Kuramas got back their yin-yang balance and, naturally, taught Naruto how to do it as well. The further Kurama's chakra was refined, the easier it would be to use, and the purer it became, the more it would increase the duo's strength. Like that, Yuna and Kurama spent the whole night refining more and more of Kurama's chakra. Guess that's it, for now. Someone is approaching me. How are you feeling, Kurama? Better. Much better. Like a burden I didn't even know about, is slowly being lifted from me. Yuna nodded her head in acknowledgement. That was pretty much the expected outcome for her. Meanwhile, in the outside world, a beautiful-looking young woman was approaching the sleeping Yuna. She had long black hair and a kind face. She was currently carrying a pouch that was filled to the brim with all kinds of medicine. She, Haku, is the hunter Nin that helped Zabuza fake his death. After she came a bit closer to Yuna, she noticed the Konoha headband that Yuna had tied to her upper arm, and for a split second, some killing intent leaked out of her, but as soon as it came it vanished. Haku reached forward with one of her arms in an attempt to wake up Yuna, but before she could do so, Yuna spoke while her eyes were still closed. Can I do something for you? Although Haku was startled by Yuna actually being awake and hoped that she hadn't noticed her killing intent, she still answered with a kind smile on her face. I was just curious why someone was sleeping in the middle of the forest. May I ask what you were doing here this early in the morning? Yuna shrugged her shoulders and answered. Getting some training done. And what about you? Yuna opened one of her eyes and quickly scanned over Haku and ended up keeping eye contact with her. Miss Chunin? Haku's body shuddered a little when Yuna scanned her. She felt like all of her secrets were exposed instantly, but when Yuna actually called her a Chunin, her eyes widened and she immediately jumped back and got ready for combat. Yuna, however, was still lazing around on the ground, seemingly not even noticing the tense atmosphere. What is wrong? Why aren't you getting ready to fight? Hehe, you are pretty decent at acting, but I can see your hesitation. You don't want this fight to happen, right? Haku, however, didn't say anything and just prepared herself for a fight. Yuna couldn't help but roll her eyes. Look here, little girl. I have my own agenda and fighting you here doesn't fit it at all. If you get lost now, we can just forget this encounter ever happened, but if you force this fight. Yuna released the firm hold she had on her chakra, resulting in a massive amount of chakra flooding the clearing. I am happy to oblige. Haku almost staggered when she was hit by the presence of Yuna's chakra. She couldn't believe such a young girl could have such a massive chakra pool. She immediately lowered her weapons a little when she realized that this fight might actually end up fatal for her. What is your agenda? Hehe, that is a secret of course, but if everything works out the way I want it to, I guarantee you won't be dissatisfied by it either. Although Haku very much doubted that, she wasn't exactly in a position where she could make demands. She quickly decided to retreat for now and tell Zabuza about her encounter. Someone as powerful as Yuna will be an important piece in the following battle. Seems like you made the correct decision. Guess I will be taking my leave then. I don't think you can calmly collect herbs while I am nearby. Oh. The name is Yuna Uzumaki, by the way. You should probably write it down. It will become important in the future, haha. My name is Haku. I am not looking forward to meeting you on a battlefield, but will still fight you if I have to. Oh, and by the way. I am actually a boy. Yuna only scoffed at that last comment. Is she trying to throw me off balance with that supposed shocker? Guess I will have to counterattack. I see, Haku, the boy. I am actually looking forward to a nice relaxing battle with whoever is coming after me, Haku the boy. By the way, Haku the boy, you didn't really think I would be laying in the middle of the forest without setting up anything to protect me, right? Haku was getting more and more annoyed by Yuna making fun of her like that, but when she heard Yuna's last question, her eyes actually widened in surprise. She quickly started to circulate chakra into her feet to get out of the clearing as soon as possible, but it was already too late. Splat. Yuna gave Haku, whose face was currently completely covered with cream, another look, and couldn't help but chuckle a little. At first, I only did this to prank our so-called teachers, but this is getting more and more enjoyable. Hehe, but to think I would find myself an ice user. Since Zabuza was just a mercenary, Haku is probably the same. Both of them hold no loyalty to Gatu. Guess I have to do some moving behind the scenes to get what I want. With a small smile on her face, Yuna vanished from her position and started to follow Haku back to her base. I hope I can get my hands on some of Gatu's goons so I can get the information about his base out of them. Then a little bit of genjutsu here and a little bit of manipulation there and everything should work out how I want it to. It has been quite a while since I did a proper infiltration. This should be fun. In the meantime, back at Tazuna's house, Teams 7 and Anko were currently standing at the edge of the forest. Kakashi had just finished demonstrating his tree climbing exercise. Sakura and Sasuke were staring at him in wonder. Naruto's eyes clearly showed a look of, how is walking up and down a tree going to help me, and Anko was looking at him accusingly. Kakashi noticed Anko's accusing look and could only cough awkwardly. I was focusing on team building. Although Anko still wasn't completely convinced, she gave a glance at Sasuke and Sakura and understood the problem to some degree. Seeing that Naruto didn't seem to be convinced either, Kakashi spoke to him next. What's wrong, Naruto? You don't seem to be convinced. Yeah, I don't really understand how this could help us in the upcoming fight. Kakashi thought back to what Naruto had done so far and nodded his head in understanding. Considering what you have shown so far, I assume you have already done this exercise before? Well, not really. But I have been doing different exercises that Nei-san has been coming up with for a long time now. Oh? That got me a little curious. Can you demonstrate one of them? Naruto, naturally, was happy that he could show off something his sister came up with and joyously walked towards a nearby patch of water. I see, water walking, huh? He already walked on water during the fight with Zabuza, but I thought he could do it because of Kyuubi's chakra coating him. Guess that was incorrect. However, Kakashi's visible eye almost popped out when, instead of walking on water, Naruto grabbed some of it and held a ball entirely made of water in his hands. Naruto hasn't noticed Kakashi's state of mind yet and happily started explaining some more details. It took me quite some time before I could even form the ball. After I mastered it, Hinata, Yuna, and I started throwing it at each other so we could get used to channeling precise amounts of chakra even while we were moving. Naruto reeled back his arm and threw the ball against a tree that was quite a bit away from the group. The water ball impacted the tree with a boom that caused Kakashi's state of mind to deteriorate even further. What the hell was that? How is it still this stable after being thrown? Doesn't this look a lot like the Rasengan? Is that damn girl developing a Rasengan that can be thrown or something? No, wait. She shouldn't even know about the Rasengan. What the hell is going on? Kakashi glanced at Anko who was standing next to him and noticed that she only seemed to be slightly surprised by what just happened. He really wanted to ask her how she wasn't surprised by what just happened, but then he realized that Anko had already spent a full week with Yuna alone. I see. I guess her mind is completely shattered at this point. Anko felt that someone was thinking something rude about her, but decided not to bother about it. She couldn't help but be a little impressed by Naruto's chakra control. I thought only Yuna was abnormal, but it seems her little brother is quite the monster as well. Considering Hinata went through the same exercise, I doubt she is normal either. Things are about to get really fun, aren't they? Maybe I should try out this chakra exercise, as well. Seemed to have worked wonders for Naruto. A smirk appeared on Anko's face when she thought about restarting her training properly. Has been a while since I did some proper training, but I feel like things will get quite chaotic from now on. I would rather not be left on the side when things start to get really hectic. After all, the further you are in the chaos, the more fun you can have. Enko touched her cursed seal, and her face grew vicious. At this point in time, how could I dare not to trust Yuna with removing this? And as soon as it is gone, I can finally go all out during fights again. I can't wait. Chapter 66, Combat Plan. 3 days later, Yuna came back to Tazuna's house, but was feeling a little dissatisfied. That was too easy. I wanted to manipulate Gato into betraying Zabuza and Haku, but that idiot was already going to do just that. What in the world gives him the confidence to try and kill a Jonin-level shinobi with a bunch of small-time gangsters? Well, he did manage to hire an additional Jonin-level missing nin from Kiri, but I doubt he would be willing to fight against Zabuza and Haku at the same time. Especially not for a small fry like Gato. At least I managed to set everything up inside Gato's warehouses. Now I just have to wait and see how everything plays out. While approaching Tazuna's house, Yuna saw Sasuke frantically running up a tree just to cut the tree bark with his kunai and then jump down again, while Sakura was passed out on the ground. Has Sasuke finally snapped? What the hell is he doing? After getting closer, Yuna also noticed that Enko and Naruto were currently tossing a ball entirely made of water between each other. Oh? It's the chakra exercise I disguised as a game when we were younger. I guess Naruto told Enko about it and she wanted to give it a try. Yuna didn't want to disturb their game, so she quietly entered Tazuna's home and the first thing she saw was Kakashi sitting at the table looking slightly lost. He was muttering some nonsense about sensei, Rasengan, and monsters. Yuna could vaguely make a guess as to what this was about, but decided not to talk with Kakashi about it. The water ball looks rather similar to the Rasengan, so I guess he is brooding over Minato's death. Not sure what the monster part is about, though. Yo, Kakashi. I'm back. You might want to take a look outside. Sasuke seems to have gone crazy. He is constantly running up and jumping down a tree. Kakashi, however, only gave her an annoyed look and then looked away again. Now, Kakashi. Don't be like that. I even brought you a present. After saying that, Yuna tossed a scroll to Kakashi which he easily caught. A present? What is it? The composition of Gato's men. What? Where did you get that? Okay, it was like this. I was just taking a walk inside the village to gather some information, when a bunch of kidnappers cornered me inside an alley and knocked me out. Next thing I know, I am tied up inside a dark room, but luckily I know my way around ropes, so I quickly loosen them and pickpocket the door lock to get out of the room. Those kidnappers were apparently part of Gato's group, so they actually brought me to his base. After managing to get out of the room, I started to look for a way out of the building and coincidentally found that scroll in your hand. How can she spout this much nonsense without showing signs of a single lie being told? Whatever, let's give it a look. Kakashi decided to give up thinking too deeply about it and that he would rather just read the information Yuna got instead of bothering to find out where they came from. I see, Zabuza and one additional Jonin called Kentakyu's. He should be in the bingo book if I remember correctly. Very bloodthirst and uses a sword. Pretty normal for shinobi from Kiri in general. A person called Haku who should be around high Chunin level, another Chunin level shinobi called Teruo Hayes, 2 names I have never heard of before, and about 50 goons that more or less have the strength of a fresh academy graduate, but have some fighting experience. Might as well test Yuna a little. What do you think, Yuna? How should we act? Well, the main target is obviously Tazuna, so the enemy will invest most of his forces in attacking him. Since Zabuza and Haku seem to be working together, I assume those two will attack Tazuna, and I guess Kenta will be there, as well. There will probably be a small detached force that attacks this house in an attempt to kidnap Tazuna's family. I guess that one will be led by Teru and will have a few goons, as well. As for the remaining goons, they will sweep the battlefield after everything is over. Kakashi's eyes widened in surprise when he heard Yuna's speculation. You think Gato will betray his hired shinobi? Yes, I have no doubt about that. The village's economy was pretty much non-existent for the last few years, and yet Gata tries to squeeze even more money out of it, thinking that if he oppressed the people even further that they will automatically generate money out of their suffering or something like that. He is stupid, arrogant, greedy, and delusional. There is no way a man like this is willing to pay the money to buy a mercenary of Zabuza's caliber. Now that there are even more expensive shinobi mercenaries, I am even more sure that Gatu will betray them. Kakashi thought about it for a moment and then nodded his head. That, indeed, seems rather likely. So how would you deploy our side? Mkich, you should fight Zabuza, again. That much is obvious. I personally would prefer to play with Haku, but I could also go against Kenta while Enko takes on the one I am not fighting. We can just leave Tazuna's home to Naruto. He has already plastered seals all over the building, might as well make use of it. Kakashi's eyebrow twitched a little when he heard that Naruto has put seals on the house, because he didn't notice him doing it and couldn't feel the seals, either. He probably did it while he was on night watch, but I find it rather troubling that I can't detect them at all. Just how far has he advanced in sealing? As for Sasuke, hard to say. This might be a good chance to make him push himself to awaken his Sharingan. Terra might be a good opponent for that, but I don't know if Naruto can gauge the correct timing to stop the battle. It is probably safer to just have him guard Tazuna. As for Sakura, honestly, she is completely out of her league on this mission. Let her stay here and allow her to defeat a goon or two. Kakashi thought for a moment and then nodded his head. She analyzed that rather smoothly. Sounds good. We will do it like that. Moments later, the door opened and Enko and Naruto walked in. Enko was carrying Sakura over her shoulder like a sack of potatoes while Naruto was doing the same with Sasuke. Welcome back, Nei-san. Welcome back, Yuna. How was your walk? I'm back. A few things happened and I got my hands on some new information about the composition of Gata's men, but except for that, everything was normal. Oh? New information? That's always useful. Kakashi could feel his eyebrow twitch again at how easily Enko dismissed what she just heard and how Naruto and Enko both don't seem to be surprised that Yuna's walk took her 3 days. Anyway, for now all we can do is protect Tazuna and wait for the attack. Naruto, you will be responsible for defending the house together with Sakura. Naruto couldn't help but be a little disappointed at that. That is a pity, I would have liked to give Zabuza another shot. Oh well, guess I'll upgrade the seals for now. Naruto quickly deposited Sasuke at the table and then ran outside with an excited expression on his face. I am not sure why, but I kind of pity whoever will attack this house. Who knows what kind of abomination Naruto is currently creating out there. Just when Kakashi finished that thought, Naruto walked past one of the windows. His hands were constantly moving around creating seal after seal in midair, and moments later, he had already moved past the window. Kakashi could have sworn there was a spark of insanity in Naruto's eyes, but it could have been his imagination. Kakashi couldn't help but shudder a little. Anyway, now, we wait. Chapter 67, Start of Combat. It has been a week since Yuna returned to Tazuna's house and, like every day, everyone except for Naruto and Sakura were guarding Tazuna and his workers while the bridge was being built. Yuna expected this to be another boring day, but to her surprise, 3 chakra signatures were approaching them. 3 people are coming. Get ready for combat. Everyone immediately jumped up to intercept the attackers. Moments later Zabuza, Haku, and Kenta appeared before them, while quite a few additional clones of Zabuza appeared as well. Seems like we meet each other again, Kakashi. And there are even 2 new people with you. Indeed, it seems like it is the same for you. Well, I have already met the supposed Hunter Nin, but the other one is a new face. Kenta Q's, I assume. Gahaha, as expected of me. My name is already spreading through the land. That is right, my name is Kenta Q's and I will have a lot of fun carving you up. After he said that, he pulled out 2 swords and got ready for combat. Kakashi-sensei, can I do it? Kakashi thought for a moment and then nodded his head. Go for it, Sasuke. Following that, Sasuke vanished from where he stood and a few moments later he reappeared, resulting in all the water clones around them dissipating. Who? Seems like the brat had grown up a little. Haku, how about you take him on? He should be a good rival to match your speed. Kenta, you don't mind taking on 2 people, right? Of course not. The more people I can cut the better. That is only natural. Realizing that Sasuke would probably be the one to fight Haku, Kakashi and Yuna glanced at each other for a moment and then nodded their head. Sasuke has powered up quite a bit in the last week, so Kakashi didn't mind having him fight Haku. Yo Anko, how about you G? Nope, he is mine. But... no. Without any warning, Yuna held her head like she had a huge headache. Ugh, I just had an epiphany how to remove your seal, but it seems to be slowly slipping away from my mind. If only there was an exciting event I could tie it to. That would certainly prevent me from forgetting it. Fine, but you better not be lying about this or you will regret it. Haha, of course, of course. Well then Kenta, how about we have some fun? I have no interest in a little brat Lee. Before he could finish his sentence, Yuna appeared in front of him with a sword in her hand and slashed down. Kenta widened his eyes in surprise but still managed to lift his 2 swords and managed to block the attack. He could feel the force of the attack almost pushing him to his knees, but he endured it and stood firm. A vicious smile appeared on Yuna's face. You better not underestimate me, big boy. A second sword appeared in her other hand which she slashed out horizontally. Kenta was yet again surprised but managed to jump back just in time to prevent being cut in 2 halves. Zabuza saw Yuna's speed and strength and couldn't stop his almost non-existent eyebrows from twitching. Where in the world does Konoha get all these monsters from? The blonde one from last time was already quite abnormal, but another brat somehow appeared that seems to be similarly ridiculous. Kakashi saw Zabuza's face and couldn't help but chuckle a little. At least I am not the only one that is baffled by their strength. When Anko reacted completely nonchalantly to it, I thought I was the weird one. Hehe, are you surprised, Zabuza? That is the older twin sister of the blonde kid you met previously. So both of the siblings are monsters, huh? Konoha sure is lucky with their talents. Yet again, Kakashi couldn't help but chuckle a little. Although I agree that both of them are monsters, Yuna is a little bit different than her brother. Zabuza gave the fight between Yuna and Kenta another glance and couldn't help but be shocked by what he saw. Kenta was actually pushed back by technique alone. Kenta was very close to actually becoming the wielder of Kiba and yet, here he was, being overwhelmed by a young girl. To think Konoha would get a genius in 2-sword style. How particular. Kakashi almost laughed out loud when he heard that. He usually wasn't the type to tease his opponent but he couldn't help it in this situation. He could finally share the suffering he went through in the past few days with someone, after all. Actually, this is the first time I see her wield 2 swords. I always thought of her as a taijutsu expert. Kakashi was in utter bliss when he saw the bewilderment in Zabuza's face. That's right. That is how a person normally should react to what Yuna does. I knew it. The weird ones are Anko and Naruto and not me. Kakashi felt like a huge burden was lifted from his soul as he happily lifted his headband to reveal his Sharingan. Well, Zabuza, enough small talk. Let's get started, shall we? Zabuza was rather annoyed at how easily Kakashi could reveal his Sharingan. After all, he planned to interrupt Kakashi from pulling up his headband, but now that plan failed. Did he tell me all that nonsense to distract me? Damn it, I should have been more careful. Fine. Now that you have no support from that blonde brat, it is time to finish you. Being the one who killed Sharingan Kakashi will give me quite the reputation. Meanwhile, those that were tasked to kidnap Tazuna's family were experiencing the worst day of their lives. Most of them have gone through quite a few battles, but none of them have ever experienced a battle like the current one. Rather than defeating them, their opponent, whom they haven't even gotten a glimpse of, seemed to be hellbent on humiliating them in as many ways as possible. Cakes appeared out of nowhere and hit their bodies. Glue would be tossed at them just to be followed by a healthy dose of feathers. Unknown contraptions would pop up and give them wedgies. Without them even noticing, their clothes would be changed into humiliating outfits, which resulted in a bunch of hairy men in skimpy outfits being the ones to assault Tazuna's home. They had no idea who they were fighting against, but none of them had any doubt that their opponent was actually a demon that pretended to be human. Author note: since the chapter is rather short, I thought I might as well say a few additional things now before any confusion pops up. Heavy spoiler for canon ahead. Do you remember how Naruto became friends with Kurama in canon and he suddenly had almost infinite amounts of chakra and stamina and could give the same buff pretty much to a whole army? That. I won't deny that Yuna is rather overpowered, but I would like it to be at least to a reasonable degree. I have hinted at this a few times now, but I will say it directly now. Yuna and Naruto are currently not capable of using Kurama's full power even though they became friends. This isn't how it works in canon, but this works better for my story, so here we go. Chapter 68, Killing a Meathead. As the battle raged on, Kenta couldn't help but frown. He was clearly stronger and faster than his opponent, and yet he was the only one being pushed back. It felt like every time he attacked, the young girl in front of him already knew how he would do it and how to counter it. The longer the fight continued, the angrier he got at being read this easily. With a loud roar, he slashed both of his swords down heavily, which resulted in Yuna retreating a few steps. Huh, what's wrong, big boy? Already losing your patience? Stop pretending to be tough, little girl. No matter how well you act, I can easily see that you are getting tired. Is he delusional? Oh well, might as well act the part to trick him. Nonsense, I can do this for days. Kenta interpreted Yuna's confidence as false bravado and couldn't help but smile. Hee, how about you surrender and come with me? I swear I will treat you really well. Now he is trying to make me angry. Does this guy have a problem with his head? Someone probably once told him that provoking your enemy can give you an advantage in battle, but instead of memorizing the whole process, he only remembered the first few words and forgot the rest. What a meathead. Well, the good thing about meatheads is that they are really easy to provoke, so let's go for it. I have seriously no clue why you are acting like you are some kind of big shot. You are being pushed into a corner by a 12-year-old and somehow still act like you are having an easy time. Kenta reacted exactly as Yuna had expected. He got angry. Stupid little girl, I will make you regret those words. He attacked again, with both of his swords swinging downwards. This time, however, both of them were coated with lightning chakra. Although they were not made out of chakra metal, putting elemental chakra into a weapon would still make it much stronger and sharper. Kenta probably expected his swords to cut through Yuna's, but... Clang! A loud sound rang out as two lightning-coated blades met two wind-coated ones. A vicious smile appeared on Yuna's face, as she pushed away Kenta's swords and slashed out with her own. Although Kenta still managed to jump back at the last moment, two bloody, cross-shaped cuts appeared on his torso. Hee, naughty boy, haven't I told you not to underestimate me? Kenta, however, didn't answer at all. He was still looking at the wound on his torso in disbelief. What's wrong, little boy? Did that mean 12-year-old bully you? Want me to fetch your MO? I will kill you. Before Yuna could finish her taunt, Kenta's chakra burst forth in an uncontrolled manner and flooded the battlefield. What the hell? Seems like, on top of being a meathead, he also has anger issues. He didn't even let me finish taunting him. That is so rude. Die. Kenta rushed at Yuna, swinging around his two swords in a crazed manner. Yuna, however, easily deflected all of them with a bored expression on her face. He got faster and stronger but sacrificed his technique for it. How boring. If I wanted to fight a mindless beast, I would just search a random forest for one. Seeing how Yuna easily blocked all of his attacks, Kenta got even angrier and his attack grew even more furious. I am not surprised he became a missing nin. With this kind of short temper, there were probably a lot of people that scorned him. Guess I will finish this. There is no point in fighting someone that can't even form a proper combat plan. Kenta, yet again, slashed at Yuna's neck in an attempt to kill her. Unlike the previous tries, however, Yuna was just a split second too late to block and Kenta's blade went through her neck, decapitating her instantly. Kenta, immediately, became elated by his victory, and the moment he relaxed, 2 blades pierced through his body from behind. One through his heart and the other through his neck. Someone who loses his rationality in a fight between shinobi, huh? You must have had a lot of luck to reach Jonin level with that kind of pathetic self-control. I expected more from this fight. Kenta, however, couldn't answer. Every passing second, he could feel his life seep out of his body. He was unwilling to die, but there was nothing he could do about that. Just like that, he died without any last words, while Yuna didn't even bother to watch his last moments. She was already on her way to take a look at the fight between Haku and Sasuke. While walking over, Yuna noticed Enko, who was currently paying attention to Kakashi's and Sasuke's fights, and would intervene if things went wrong. When Enko noticed Yuna, she glared at her, but Yuna only winked back and smiled at Enko and proceeded towards Sasuke's fight. When she reached the location of the fight, Yuna couldn't help but marvel at Haku's method of attack. How curious. The mirrors seem to be capable of absorbing the one who summoned them. This cancels the user's inertia and reapplies it in the opposite direction when getting out of the mirror again. This makes it possible to move at insane speeds and in seemingly random directions. Yuna's purple eyes shone in excitement. I wonder what it is like to be inside the mirrors. Although it looks like she can choose whatever mirror she wants as her next target, that doesn't seem to be the case. There clearly is a pattern. Does she have to calculate the angle herself, or is the jutsu forcing her to take a certain pattern? Yuna's eyes moved from one mirror to the next. Even the slightest of Haku's movements is observed by Yuna and stored inside her mind. The slightest chakra fluctuation is recorded and stored as well. Not the slightest detail is escaping her eyes. Her curious eyes slowly become colder and more calculating as Yuna starts dissecting the new information about ice chakra. I see, so this is how people from this world use ice chakra. It certainly is different from the way I use it. I see, if I move it like that it becomes easier to control. How curious, that doesn't make any sense, yet it still works. Need to put more thought into that at a later time. Oh? What was the reason for that chakra spike? Was that unintentional? It was. No improvement in circulation or creation. I see, if I do it like that, I can improve the creation time by 0.03 seconds. Why did she? While Yuna was busy dissecting Haku's ice style, Sasuke wasn't having a good time at all. At the start of the battle, things were still rather even. Although he was surprised by the one-handed hand seals, he still managed to overcome that. But, when Haku started to use her crystal ice mirrors, things quickly got worse. Sasuke took quite the beating before it finally happened. He finally awoke his Sharingan. With his Sharingan, he managed to even out the battle quite a bit. He could finally see all of Haku's attacks and dodge them. The problem was, however, that he was slowly running out of steam. He was far from being familiar with using the Sharingan and his chakra reserves were dwindling at a fast pace. Every time he dodged the onslaught of senbons, he could feel them getting a little bit closer to reaching him. He needs to do something, or he would lose the fight and consequently, his life. Chapter 69, Fighting Haku. Inside a cage made of ice mirrors, Sasuke could be seen frantically dodging senbons. Just a bit more. I can almost dodge them perfectly. Just a bit longer. As the fight continued, he got more and more used to Haku's attack patterns, with his Sharingan significantly decreasing the difficulty of such a feat. He had it almost figured out. Just when he prepared himself to dodge another onslaught, the senbon's reign stopped and Haku started to speak. As expected of the Uchiha bloodline, the longer we fight, the stronger you get, but this battle is my win. You can barely stand on your legs anymore. Surrender, and I promise you that I won't take your life. Sasuke could only smirk at that. Won't take my life? What a joke, I am just a step away from defeating you. Do you think I would be tricked this easily? After hearing how confident Sasuke was, Haku could only shake her head at his ignorance. I guess I have no choice. I gave him plenty of chances to surrender, but if he insists on being stubborn like that, I have no other choice but to kill him. Fine, you leave me no other choice but to finish this. I gave you quite a few chances to surrender, but since you dismissed all of them, I have no other choice but to finish you. As soon as Haku finished her sentence, her chakra spiked and she threw out another volley of senbons. Sasuke's Sharingan immediately started to scan and analyze the situation, and a split second later he understood the situation. Faster and more complex than every single attack I have seen so far. My enemy has been holding back all this time. I can't dodge this one. Is this my end? Moments before the senbons were about to pierce through him, however, a blue and red blur appeared before him. Huh, what's wrong, Sasuke? You seem to be quite troubled by your opponent. Yuna appeared in front of Sasuke while holding every single senbon that was hurled at him in her hands. Sasuke's pride, immediately, took over when he answered. Why are you here, Yuna? This is my fight, I was just about to fight. Before he could finish his sentence, the adrenaline coursing through his body vanished and his fatigue kicked in, resulting in him immediately fainting in exhaustion. Yuna casually caught Sasuke before he crashed headfirst into the ground and could only shake her head. This guy sure is stubborn, isn't he? Even though he has been on the brink of collapse for quite a time, he still kept pushing himself. If he wasn't so hell-bent on his revenge, he might be someone worth training. Guess that doesn't matter for now. Let's chat with Haku for a bit. Yuna carefully put Sasuke on the ground and then looked at Haku. Hello, Haku. It has only been a few days, but nice to see you again. Although Haku was slightly bewildered by how easily Yuna saw through her disguise, she still accepted the little defeat and took off her mask. Yuna Uzumaki. As I said last time we met, I am not looking forward to fighting you, but I will still do so if it is for Zabuza-sama's sake. Then come. Although your efforts will be useless, you should at least give it your all before being defeated. The moment Yuna finished her sentence, a massive amount of senbons were launched at her from everywhere at once. Yuna could only smile at that. You held back against Sasuke quite a bit, huh? Oh well, in the end, it doesn't really matter. Yuna's hands blurred and moments later, she held dozens of senbons in her hand while even more were scattered around her. Haku's eyes widened in surprise when she saw how easily Yuna defended against her onslaught. How is that possible? How could you possibly block my attacks this easily? Even with the Sharingan, your teammate had trouble seeing through my attacks. Yuna couldn't help but chuckle at that. These people sure love their bloodlines, don't they? Just because someone with the Sharingan couldn't see through it, Haku thought it would be impossible to do so. It is because I understood your technique. All of it. How you enter your mirrors, how you exit them, how you attack out of them, everything. Daring to use ice-based attacks in front of me? You are doomed to fail. Yuna's purple eyes shone with wisdom unbefitting of her current age as she snapped her fingers, and as soon as she did, cracks appeared on the mirrors, and moments later every single one of them shattered. Haku experienced something she has never felt before. The chakra she used to control her mirrors seemed to simply surrender to Yuna and decided to obey her without question. It felt so natural that Haku didn't even know how to complain about it. For some reason that Haku didn't understand herself, it felt only natural for her ice chakra to be subdued by Yuna. Like it was a law of nature for that to happen like that. See? I told you ice won't work. What will you do now? I see. Seems like you are much stronger than me. I am already on my last leg, so I guess it is my loss. It is a pity that I can no longer be of help to Zabuza-sama. Do with me whatever you want. I feel like she shouldn't have said it that way. I have no idea what you are talking about. That is good. In that case, you will be serving me instead of Zabuza from now on. What? You are not going to kill me? Yuna only looked at her in confusion. Pretty sure I never said I would. How could I possibly kill the first natural ice user I meet? I am sorry, but the only one I am willing to serve is Zabu. I have to go. There is still something I need to do. Haku went through a few hand seals and a mirror appeared under her in which she sunk immediately. Yuna instantly became annoyed. What the hell, Kakashi? You have been playing hide and seek with Zabuza for this long and now you suddenly decide to go for the kill? Red chakra immediately started to cloak Yuna. She grew 2 tails and fox ears out of chakra, while her facial features grew more savage. She jumped towards Haku's mirror and, while approaching it, seized it for herself as she did earlier. She jumped inside, just like Haku did moments ago, and vanished as well. You'd better not kill my precious first ice user, Kakashi. If you do, I will sneak some false intel to the old man that you are the reason my second book hasn't been released yet. Chapter 70, Recruiting Zabuza. Kakashi's battle against Zabuza was rather unusual. Zabuza was staying inside his mist, while occasionally throwing out an attack or two but never committing too heavily to it. Kakashi, meanwhile, was exclusively on the defense. There was nothing he could do about it. The mist was simply too thick for him to see anything properly. He could throw out a powerful jutsu, but that would leave him wide open, something which Zabuza would abuse. He could only wait for Zabuza to make a mistake and counterattack. Things changed, however, when Kakashi felt Sasuke's chakra plumbed to almost 0. He could guess that either Anko or Yuna were nearby to help him, but both of them hid their presence too well for Kakashi to notice them. Although his senses were sharp, he wasn't a censor after all. Guess I will try to distract him and then go for it. Zabuza, we have been playing around for quite a while now, but it seems like things are getting dangerous for my team, so I've got to move. Hehe, do you think it is that easy? It might take me some time, but I will slowly wear you down inside my mist, and as soon as you become too stressed from always keeping your guard up you will make a mistake and I will finish you. While Zabuza was monologuing, Kakashi took out a scroll, smeared his blood on it, went through some hand seals, and slammed it on the ground. No matter how you look at it, making your enemy monologue is still the best way to distract them. Here we go, summoning, earth style, tracking Fong technique. At first, nothing happened, but a few moments later the earth underneath Zabuza cracked, and a pack of dogs jumped out and sunk their teeth into Zabuza. Too bad, Zabuza. I got you. Now it is time to finish this. Kakashi went through a few hand seals and then gathered huge amounts of lightning nature chakra in his hand. Moments later, the sound of chirping birds echoes over the battlefield while lightning surrounds Kakashi's hand. Kakashi immediately charged Zabuza in an attempt to pierce his hand through Zabuza's heart, but moments before reaching Zabuza, an ice mirror popped up in front of him. Haku stepped out of it and wanted to block Kakashi's blow with her body. Kakashi's eyes widened in surprise when Haku appeared in front of him, but he didn't bother to stop his attack. Although it isn't Zabuza, it is still an enemy, so it doesn't matter if I go for the kill. To Kakashi's surprise, however, another hand came out of the mirror, grabbed Haku by the clothes at the scruff of her neck, and pulled her aside, replacing her with Yuna. Before Kakashi could fully understand the situation, his hand pierced straight through Yuna's abdomen, inflicting a lethal wound. Kakashi's face paled, especially when he remembered how similar this felt to when his hand pierced through Rin all those years ago. Despite the similarities, there was one point that certainly changed the atmosphere of the current situation. You are quite the bold man, Kakashi. The first time we fight you try to enter my back door and the next time, your huge thing hits me so hard that it pierces all the way through my abdomen. The dogs that were holding Zabuza had already disappeared thanks to a few well-placed senbons by Haku, so instead of Kakashi Zabuza was the one to speak next. Although I don't understand the whole situation, thanks for saving me, I guess, and now, die. Zabuza swung his sword and tried to bisect Yuna and Kakashi at the same time. Kakashi panicked and wanted to grab Yuna and jump away, but when Yuna gave him an annoyed look, he stopped. He had no idea why he stopped, but it felt like the right thing to do. Just when Zabuza's blade was about to reach Yuna, her chakra spiked for a split second and in this short moment, she caught Zabuza's sword with one hand. As soon as she did, the third tail she had grown just a moment ago vanished again. Yuna couldn't help but look at Zabuza with some annoyance in her eyes. Can you pipe down for a moment? Can't you see I am having a conversation? Anyway, Kakashi, why do you suddenly look like you killed someone you didn't want to kill? While Zabuza was completely dumbfounded by how easily Yuna caught his blade, Kakashi couldn't help but give an awkward stare at the hand that was still pierced through Yuna. The wound was definitely fatal, but if he were to pull his hand out, it would happen even faster, so he didn't move yet. Yuna seemed to have finally realized why Kakashi was acting like this. Ah, I see. You are worried that you wounded me. Well, it is nothing but a flesh wound, so no worries. As she said that, she pulled Kakashi's hand out of her abdomen and caused a huge amount of blood to spill on the ground. The moment Kakashi's hand was removed, massive amounts of red chakra started to gather at the wound and Yuna's flesh started to knit itself together at a visible speed. Everyone looked dumbfounded at how the seemingly fatal wound was healed within seconds without even leaving a scar behind. See? Just a scratch. Anyway, let's get back to business. Zabuza, Haku, you both are mercenaries, right? I am hiring both of you from today on. We will finish the contract as soon as we get back to Konoha. Although Zabuza still had no clue what was going on and especially had no idea how someone could not only survive but instantly heal an injury like that, he was not someone who let go of his principles because of that. Gato already hired me. No matter how much money you offer me, I will not break my contract with him. Yuna nodded in understanding and, naturally, approved of Zabuza staying true to his principles. I am, of course, aware of that. If that was not the case, I wouldn't have bothered talking with you, after all. That is why let's welcome our special guest. He will arrive here in about 40 seconds. Although Zabuza was rather baffled by whatever was happening right now, a short break was exactly what he needed to regather his thoughts and form a new strategy. Kakashi on the other hand had a pretty good idea who that special guest was and could only shake his head. Just how much of this has Yuna planned? I guess that is why she saved that girl just moments ago. She seemed to be capable of ice jutsu. A rather unique find. Exactly 40 seconds later, a small man, followed by around 80 thuggish-looking men appeared on the bridge. You really are useless, Zabuza. Can't even take care of a bunch of brats. Zabuza could more or less guess what this was about but asked anyway. Why are you here, Gatu? My fight still isn't over. Gatu sneered at him and gave his answer. It is over since you will be dying now. No matter how strong you are, you can't fight against an army of almost 100 men. Every shinobi present looked at Gatu like he was an idiot. An army of 100 people? That was something even a Chunin might be capable of wiping out if he is careful. Zabuza couldn't help but chuckle a little. How did that brat know Gatu would betray me? Well, it doesn't really matter. Since my contract is broken, I might as well accept a new one. But there is no way I will work for a brat that is still green behind the ears, so I might as well throw out a test to see what she is capable of. A smirk appeared on Zabuza's face. Yuna, right? I accept working for you, but only if you can kill those thugs. Considering the strength you showed just now, that shouldn't be much of a problem, right? Zabuza was, of course, banking on Yuna not being used to killing people and that this would put a bit of stress on her. Unfortunately for him, he was completely wrong. Oh, is that all? All right. Before Zabuza could fully understand the situation, Yuna started to gather an obscene amount of water nature chakra in her mouth and spat it out in an arc in front of her. Water style, mountain slicing high-pressure water stream. A high-pressure stream of water shot out of Yuna's mouth. Its thickness wasn't even 2 centimeters, yet the moment it came into contact with one of Gatu's men they were sliced in two instantly. Yuna only moved her head once before everyone except for Gatu was cut in half. The only reason why Gatu survived was that he was much shorter than everyone else. He only glanced back at his supposed army, and as soon as he saw the gory mess, he fainted instantly. Well, Zabuza, there you go. I still have some use for Gatu, but the rest are dead. This should be fine, right? Zabuza, however, didn't say anything. He was simply staring at the massacre in front of him with wide eyes. Kakashi and Haku had similar reactions, the only one unaffected was Anko, who had already seen that jutsu before. Well, I know how they feel. A young girl casually shooting out a jutsu that might even reach S rank sure is ridiculous. When I saw her use it, she only had one tail as a support. As expected, the power grows even more ridiculous if there are more tails. The mountain cutting part of the name might actually come true. I really need to get rid of this damned seal. I want to become stronger. I want to keep up. Just how interesting will the future be if I am beside Yuna? I cannot fall too far behind. I want to stand next to her. Anko's desire to grow stronger was ignited and turned into a blazing inferno. She wanted to grow stronger, not to protect those close to her, not for revenge, not to prove a point, but simply because she thought that she would have the most fun this way. That's the end of this tale for now. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in part 5. Peace.